What's going on, fellow A-Plusers? It's your boy, Adam Perez. We are back once again with a brand new live episode of A-Plus Hero Report, your weekly stop for your Marvel, DC, television, and movie news, streaming live for you guys today. It is I, your host, Adam Perez. We got 6 incredible topics for you guys today, some honorable mentions to kick off the show, and our live viewer questions to certainly wrap it up. Grab your coffee, sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Good afternoon, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're certainly watching the newest episode of A-Plus Hero Report from. It is I, your host, Adam Perez. I'm back once again with a brand new live episode for you guys today. Listen, the docket has changed. Things have certainly changed on today's show. I was expecting Stuart to certainly be here today, but unfortunately, he did have to go. I don't know what's kind of going on, but won't be able to be with us today. So it is Adam rolling solo dolo today. But Stuart will be back. We've got a brand new episode of Let's Talk Movies tomorrow evening for you guys. So we're going to be talking about maybe about 2, maybe 3 movies we'll certainly see tomorrow. And then Stuart will be back for Force Report on Wednesday. He's going to be making his Force Report debut with us next Wednesday when we talk Maul Shadow Lord episodes. Was it 5 and 6, if I'm not mistaken? So it's just myself today. He texted me late last night, letting me know that he wasn't going to be able to make it today. So, but that's okay. I'm holding down the fort for you guys today. I know some people love when I have a co-host here with me. So look, today's co-host is you guys. All right, you guys are today's co-host. So as I go through these particular topics, if you want to go ahead and let your thoughts be known, jump into the conversation, give us some topics to certainly talk about. Feel free to throw your thoughts into the live chat. We are live chatting right now. I do love to bring up comments as we go through the show. Very interactive in that regard. So yeah, let's bounce ideas off, because remember, at the end of the day, these are simply my A-plus opinions, but I always want to know yours. So as we talk about these topics, feel free to go ahead and chime in the live chat, guys. I love talking with you guys. I just do. That's why we come back every weekend to talk with you guys here. But big things certainly happening around here. The tax return came in this week, baby. That's right. Your boy is going to be investing in 2 things: a brand new telephone. Hopefully I can get one today, or at least sometime this weekend, but a brand new telephone, because my shit is just like outdated. Like it's bad. Like it's bad, y'all. Like it's falling apart on me. My phone is technically 2 pieces as of right now, and I purchased it as 1 piece. So I'm just gonna leave it at that for you guys. Okay. So that's the first investment, and the second investment is this damn PC. I need to get me a brand new PC, more powerful, so I can live stream seamlessly. There's just so many things that I really want to be able to do that having my laptop down, sort of like half functioning refurbished PC can only get me but so far. So I am looking at investing in a new PC here relatively soon, because there's a lot of things that Hero Report in general certainly wants to do. So yeah, we got a lot of things to certainly going on behind the scenes, trying to get back into the movie theater scene a little bit. I went and saw Super Mario Brothers yesterday. Finally, I'm trying to play some catch up here. I still want to see that Robert Pattinson and Zendaya movie where they're the married couple, or couple getting ready to be married. And I also want to see that brand new Mummy movie, the Lee Cornin Mummy movie. That looks pretty terrifying also. And I think this week we also have the Michael Jackson biopic dropping this week. So we got a lot of movies for me to watch within a week's time. And trust me when I say we will be talking about all these movies on our live Monday episodes of Let's Talk Movies. And then I'm also probably working behind the scenes to get some like animation and intro done, and maybe some title stuff for our weekly movie show that me and Stuart like to do for you guys. So a lot of big things happening, man, and I'm really excited for it. We just launched, if you're a big Star Wars fan like I am, we just launched a weekly show called The Force Report, a Star Wars podcast. Right now we're doing live episode reviews every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Central Time for Maul Shadow Lord, and I believe after we wrap up Maul Shadow Lord, I think we're going to be getting back together again for the Mandalorian and Grogu reviews. And then after that, it's going to become like a bi-weekly episode every 2 weeks for you guys as we wrap up any big news within the Star Wars world. So I'm really excited for the development, really excited for a lot of my co-hosts and collaborators when bringing all this stuff together, man. So I appreciate your guys' continued support. If you want to support the channel monetarily, because I got to ask for money, unfortunately, it's the one part of the show that I absolutely hate. I know it's tight in them streets for everybody. I know we live in paycheck to paycheck for some people right now, but if there's anything that you can support to the channel, our super chat, our super images and things like that are certainly open. But if you can't help us out that way, that's more than fine. If you want to help us out freely, that takes less than a second. Liking the video, subscribing to the channel, all of that goes to supporting the channel and helping us grow. We don't really have any sponsors around here. We really grow based off of you guys, so we really appreciate it. So look, because it's a very interactive show, I love to shout out people that are joining us live as we watch. So let's go ahead and dive into this. Who do we got with us today, man? We got Ricky Perez in the house. Saw the official trailer for Meet the Fockers, the fourth movie titled Fockers in Law during CinemaCon 2026. Yeah, they did drop a brand new poster also for Fockers in Law, and it looks good. Ariana Grande is starring in this movie. I'm really excited for it, honestly. I was so impressed with her, I think, in the Wicked movies, that now that I'm going to get the opportunity to see her opposite Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro, it should be a lot of fun. The trailer looked really funny to me, and it's just kind of cool to see Ben Stiller's character sort of now in the same position that Robert De Niro certainly found himself in also in the previous film. So it'll be interesting to see how they play off of each other. Also in CinemaCon 2026, Disney revealed the official logo and casting for the animated title Hex, which arrives Thanksgiving 2026. Very cool. When I went to see, speaking of animated films, I went to go see Super Mario Brothers yesterday, and they had a trailer playing in front of it. I believe it was from DreamWorks. I can't remember the title off of my head, forgetting or remembering. I can't remember what the name of the title was, but it was like of these two girls who were like lifelong friends who had like grown up, had made a bunch of memories all throughout the years, just besties, right? One of them's getting ready to go off to college, and their friendship is about to kind of separate, right? I think a lot of us have probably experienced things like that, adulting, moving on to new schools, whatever the case may be. But they wind up getting pulled and sucked into this portal that the longer that they stay in this world, their memories continue to disappear, and so they could possibly forget who each other certainly might be. I was really fond of this trailer. Like the animation looked incredible. The storyline looks really good. It really grabbed my attention. I cannot remember the title of this movie though. If you guys know what I'm talking about, please let me know in the comment section box below. But it's definitely got my attention. I hadn't heard about it previously to yesterday, but it's on my radar now. Ricky Perez also says during CinemaCon, the cast of the upcoming Ice Age includes Ray Romano reveals details about a sixth film? A sixth film for Ice Age? I mean, I guess it shouldn't surprise me, but I am kind of curious as to like how much money these Ice Age movies make. I might have to box office mojo this. The fact that we have a sixth Ice Age movie. Do people not get tired of these films? That's crazy to me. Also, during Paramount panel at CinemaCon, revealed more updates on the upcoming TMNT Mutant Mayhem sequel, Angry Birds 3, and Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Yeah, I'm excited for the Mutant Mayhem sequel. Also saw the trailer for the upcoming Star Wars Mandalorian and Grogu movie. We will be talking about that, maybe even showing it later. So stay tuned, y'all, so we can talk about it together. And then he also talks a little bit about Avengers Doomsday. We might talk a little bit about that today on today's show. That is one of our topics. We also got Peg C in the house. How's it going, Peg C? Good to see you, buddy. I can give you some ideas which laptop you should get, what you do. No, I'm not going to get a laptop. No. I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't mind getting a new laptop also for just the purpose of like traveling, right? Like my next big trip, honestly, is, if all things go well, will be Star Wars Celebration in 2027. I really would like for myself and my co-hosts to be able to either get press credentials to Star Wars Celebration, or hell, maybe we just buy our tickets to be safe. But I really would like to cover Star Wars Celebration. So when I do go out there next April, I would like to have a new laptop. But as far as like stationary things for, because I have always worked off of a laptop doing my streaming, and my laptops just are great at first, but they're just not built for video editing and live streaming, powerful enough with the RAM and the memory and things like processing speed to do what I needed to do for long periods of time. And so the big investment will be a PC that's strong enough to do everything that I need stationary here. But investing in a new laptop is something I would like to do within the next year or so, just so that I can kind of take it on trips for me, because I would like to try and get the family out to Los Angeles for Star Wars Celebration next year, if at all possible. So keep your fingers crossed. But those are the two big investments I would like to certainly make. We got Kiki and Luca in the house right now. Also coming through with the super chat. Appreciate the super chat, Kiki and Luca. Thanks for making my Sundays fun. Hey, we do what we can around here. You continue to come back and support our channel week after week after week. So anything that you can help us out with, definitely appreciate it. And we do this for you guys, man. First off, we love talking about this stuff. It may not necessarily bring in the money or the big bucks, because I mean, YouTube algorithms are so hard, and hate is really what brings money. And we're not really hateful around here. Like, we find ourselves as true fans, where we talk about the things that we appreciate and we love first and foremost, and then we can be critical about things for sure. But so we don't we're not super big in that regard, so any support certainly helps. But we talk about this stuff because we have a love for it, and we hope that you guys have fun listening to us, even if we may not necessarily agree on every single opinion. We're very respectful around here, and we always appreciate everybody's thoughts for sure. Pexi also says, I also watched Boy Band Confidentials. First off, he says, I just watched night 1 of WrestleMania 42 last night. I have not watched WrestleMania. This is the first WrestleMania I have not watched live in like 10 years, if I'm being honest with you. This whole deal with ESPN and TKO has really ruined my PLE sort of events experience ever since they switched over to ESPN. Like, I already had a subscription through Disney, right? Like their trio plan: Disney, Hulu, ESPN. So I already paid for an ESPN plan. So I'm like, yes, I like it. I'm just gonna get it. I'm just gonna get WWE PLEs going forward. Nope. Apparently, I gotta move up to the next bracket and pay more for the ESPN Unlimited, even though I'm already paying an ESPN thing. I'm not doing all that, bro. I'm not, like, Peacock was just simple. I paid Peacock. I got my PLE events, right? Like, but now I got to pay more through ESPN. I'm not doing it, dude. I'm not doing it. I refuse. TKO makes too much money as it is. They already price hike every live event you could possibly imagine to just drain everyday WWE fans of all of their money. I'm not giving you my money. I'm not giving you my money, dog. I will be honest with you and let you know I am illegally downloading all of your shit every month. Okay, I refuse. And I will be downloading WrestleMania this week. It's crazy, dude. TKO is crazy. ESPN, it's a horrible situation for fans. I really hate it. Blossom, what's up, Blossom? Appreciate you coming through. I forgot Star Wars Day is coming. Yep, May the 4th be with you. It'll be here before you know it. Pexi said, I can give you ideas on desktops as well. Yes, please. Definitely message me whenever you get the opportunity to. Blossom says, I can vouch for you talking about what you love. You guys are without a doubt the swingingness. Hey, I never heard that. I never heard somebody talk to me in the sense of I'm swingingist. Hey, I'll take that as a compliment, man. I take that as a compliment. I appreciate it, Blossom. We got Billy in the house. Hey, Adam, just thought I would say hi on my way to work. I'm curious to see what your thoughts on Mandalorian and Grogu. We definitely will be talking about it with you guys here today. I believe it was the final trailer, as the movie is set to go ahead and premiere, I believe, May 22nd. So we're literally like a month or so away, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll be here before you guys know it. But yeah, we'll definitely be talking about the final trailer. I may even show the final trailer to you guys also. But all right, since looks like all the live chat comments are in, feel free to continue to funnel them in as we talk about today's show. But let's go ahead and kick us show off with the first segment of the day. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Honorable Mentions, our portion of the show, our first portion of the show. Just so you guys are aware, if this is your first time watching us here, Honorable Mentions, just a portion of the show that we talk about topics that did not quite make our top six, but felt that you guys certainly still deserved to know about it. So let's see what we have picked out here for you guys today. We did get from CinemaCon here this week a list of casting for the brand new Lord of the Rings movie, The Hunt for Gollum. If you guys haven't heard, Andy Serkis, who played Gollum, will in fact be directing this movie, also returning to play Gollum and Smeagol. But here's the cast lineup for The Hunt of Gollum. You got Ian McKellen returning as Gandalf, even picked up Kate Winslet, who's going to be in here, Academy Award winner. One of the Elijah Wood is coming back as Frodo Baggins, so that should be interesting too. I am curious if they get any of the other hobbits to possibly return. I thought the premise of this movie was going to be the idea of like Sam's daughter growing older and like finding a mystery in regards to like their past adventure when it comes to the ring itself. So there's a part of me that thinks, maybe Sean Astin might certainly return, maybe some of the other hobbits also, but Elijah Wood and Ian McKellen, the two, Frodo and Frodo and Gandalf certainly returning. The big surprise here, it's not really a surprise. I guess it shouldn't surprise people. People were wondering if Viggo Mortensen might be coming back as Strider, aka Aragon, but he is not. Viggo Mortensen is not coming back. Instead, they have recast the character for Strider, and he will be played by the actor Jamie Dornan. I'm not too familiar with him. I mean, maybe I have seen him in previous work, but I don't know off the top of my head. But Jamie Dornan will in fact be the one that's going to be playing Strider, aka Aragon. So we'll see how this plays out. It's interesting in the sense that this movie kind of quasi takes place in between Fellowship of the Ring. Like this is literally an entire adventure that takes place within the book of Fellowship of the Ring, but is not explored as sort of like a part of the movie, if you will. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how this works out. So we'll see. We'll find out. What else we got here news wise? Oh, Spaceballs baby is back. That's right. We got the official announcement here. They did drop a little bit of a trailer, if you will, over at CinemaCon for this, but it was just Mel Brooks kind of cracking jokes and making fun of the idea of the title itself. But this is the official title, Spaceballs, the new one. People say, hey, when are you going to make the new one? When are you going to make the new Spaceballs? When's the new Spaceballs movie come out? So he just decided to call it Spaceballs, the new one. If you guys haven't seen the announcement, the trailer announcement for this with Mel Brooks, I highly recommend it. It's a pretty good one. Other honorable mentions for you guys. Top Gun 3 is also officially in the works. Tom Cruise is planning on returning. According to Variety and CinemaCon, it says Tom Cruise is returning to Top Gun 3. Paramount actually announced that during its CinemaCon presentation, as is the producer Jerry Bruckheimer. I would assume that the director Joseph Kosinski, who did Top Gun Maverick, along with he just did a great movie this past year too, F1 the movie. He dropped the brand new movie and it was stellar. It was stellar. There were even rumblings and talks about the idea of maybe crossing over Top Gun and F1, especially since they share the same director there. And we do know that Tom Cruise is famous for, was it Days of Thunder, his old classic film also. So two different characters of Tom Cruise from Days of Thunder and Top Gun. Don't get me wrong, but it would be pretty neat. If it's not a Top Gun F1 movie, crossover, then maybe a Days of Thunder and F1 crossover, I think would be pretty brilliant if you ask me. Tom Cruise seemingly really enjoys working with that director also. So the fact that Tom Cruise is coming back for Top Gun 3, I got to think the director chose Joseph Kosinski is going to be a part of that as well. But we'll see how that one turns out. This week, we also got a big announcement for you Star Wars fans. Star Wars Celebration 2027 will, in fact, be happening in Los Angeles. They wind up dropping brand new images here, promotional artwork. I'm loving the color scheme for this year's celebration. I think the last time they had a celebration was what, 2025, 2024, maybe, out in Japan. Design wise, that was pretty brilliant. But this really works. I don't think I've ever been to Los Angeles. I've been to Anaheim when they've had their past conventions out there. I don't know how far off. I don't know how far off Los Angeles is from Anaheim, but I've never actually been into the city. So that's something I'm kind of looking forward to if we get the opportunity to go next year. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. And then yeah, what is the date? Let me just see. This says save the date. Tickets, first off, tickets go on sale May 6th. May 6th at 12 p.m. Pacific time. That's 2 p.m. Central time and 3 p.m. Eastern time. So mark your calendars for May 6th, Star Wars fans. Get that money ready. Start breaking into that savings account of yours if you need to. Get those 3-4 day passes. I don't even know how long this event is going to be, honestly. But I'm sure you might be able to find like single tickets days after the pre-sales and things like that. But if you can't afford it, certainly try to. But yeah, save the date, May 6th. Tickets go on sale for Star Wars Celebration in Los Angeles in 2027. And then last but not least, one of the things that I wanted to highlight, did I not bring up? Oh, here we go. We had Clayface in the news here this week, because they had a Clayface presentation over at CinemaCon also. For those of you well, I believe the movie was set to release this year, but I'm starting to hear rumors that it might have been pushed into 2027. But as of right now, I do believe it's set for September 2026, if I'm not mistaken. But we did get a first look teaser for Clayface. They didn't release it to the public, but people in attendance definitely got the opportunity to see it. According to comicbookmovie.com, it says DC Studios brought a first look at Clayface. While it hasn't been released online, we do have a description of footage from a movie that Peter Safran described as a riveting horror thriller driven by character, not genre. The trailer was set to Do You Realize by the Flaming Lips, and it seems we're getting the first true horror comic book movie with filmmaker James Watkins. Yeah, everybody that I've heard talk about this has mentioned about just how fully embedded in the horror genre this is. This isn't like your candy horror or like your soft horror so that kids and families can go still see it. No, it sounds as though Clayface is set to be full on body horror vibes, according to some people. Quick shots around a man lying in a hospital bed with bandages around his head ends with Tom Rhys Harris, who's playing Clayface, laying in a bathtub and quite literally wipes his face off with his hand. Freaky stuff is what they say. Variety does go into a little bit more detail. It says that his real name in the movie as Matt Hagen. He starts out as a struggling actor whose face is disfigured and then undergoes a scientific transformation that turns his body entirely into clay. The trailer shows Matt sitting in a hospital bed with a bandaged, bloody face. I mean, people that say that they've seen the scene say it's horrific to actually watch. He's attacked by a knife-wielding assailant and has mysterious chemicals pumped into him, giving him his powers. Matt's face changes repeatedly, showing him without an eye or mouth at times. And in the final moments, he's sitting in the bathtub and wipes away his entire face. There's also a shadowy shot of him with a giant mace-shaped fist, just like how he would pummel Batman in the DC comics. So, ladies and gentlemen, they are not playing around when it comes to Clayface. I am really, I'm surprised that wasn't on my most anticipated list of movies for this year, but the more and more that I hear about it, the more I'm looking for. I'm like, I've always been looking forward to this Clayface movie. I know people have had questions in regards to, is that how you kick off the Batman universe by, showcasing a villain over Batman himself? I got to tell you, man, I don't care. I don't care. As long as it's a great movie, and they're doing something different tonally and in a different genre, bring it on, man. That sounds fantastic to me. So I'm really excited to see what they do there with Clayface. But that will do it for all of our honorable mentions for you guys. But yeah, guys, let me know if anything really piqued your interest in regards to that particular segment. Let me get my coffee, man, because all this talking got your boy parched. And I might need to fix this camera a little bit. I'm already sitting kind of tall. So let me bring this down just a little bit so y'all can see me a little bit better. Let me sip this coffee. 1 second, y'all. All right, we are back, guys. We're going to get into our main topics for you guys here today. As you can see from our banner, we got 6 incredible topics, but we're highlighting 3 at the top. Masters of the Universe got a really big spread here in this week's episode. We also got some new Street Fighter footage for you guys. And believe it or not, the Phantom is back in the news. A classic sort of character. The last time I remember seeing anything Phantom related had to be, was it Billy Zane's movie back in like the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. But it looks as though the Phantom could possibly be back. We've also got some Avengers Doomsday news for you guys, some Man of Tomorrow talk. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. But first and foremost, Masters of the Universe is in the news. This is by far, and I kid you not when I say this, my most anticipated movie of the year. That's right. This is the one that I am looking forward to the most. As a Masters of the Universe fan, I grew up loving me some Prince Adam and He-Man cartoons back in the day. I'm certainly not an encyclopedia or an aficionado, but it's always been a world that has always captured my imagination in regards to the fantasy, sci-fi elements of it all that just really works for me. And while I'm sure going to be plenty of Oscar nominated movies this year that are going to be much better than this film that I'm looking forward to, this is still my most anticipated movie of the year. This week, because we are inching closer to the movie releasing, we did have Entertainment Weekly today, or this week, wind up dropping a brand new article that talked about it in a lot of depth. So it's a really long article. We may not go through all of it. I may just kind of skim through certain aspects of it while we bring up some of the exclusive brand new images for you guys today. So let's read some of this article together and see what they're talking about. This seems like as though Entertainment Weekly got the opportunity to visit the set of Masters of the Universe while it was coming together. Got the opportunity to talk to some of the cast members and things like that also. Fighting Their Power, how Masters of the Universe created a He-Man and Teela for a new generation. And I think that's key because of the fact that the IP itself is so extremely old. Unless you're like a millennial or a boomer or a Gen Xer, you probably don't even know who Masters of the Universe is or didn't really necessarily grow up with it the way that we certainly did. So to have to make it appealing to a more current generation, leave it up to Travis Knight to be able to do something like that. So looking really forward to seeing how this all comes together. This is the main star, Nicholas Galitzine. He says, truthfully, I feel like I learned a lot about myself and how far I was willing to push myself and really suffering for it, talking about his training regimen. Working with a celebrity personal trainer, David Kingsbury, who also helped sculpt Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, Chris Hemsworth, and more. It took a really long time. It's really not for the faint of heart. This is something that you need to do full time for 6 months minimum, but I'm really happy. When people, it just reminds me of like when Hugh Jackman talks about the idea of like having to get ready for Wolverine, just how miserable it is. I mean, Hugh Jackman's probably always in the best shape of his life based off of just the workout regimen that he's had to do for Wolverine pretty much like half his life, if we're being honest, right? And he's talked about the idea that as he's gotten older, the ability to continue to do that sort of training, like it's just really hard on his body. So the idea of having to get in, especially like He-Man shape. Like, I think Nicholas looks good. Like, I think he looks great in here. Is he as big as like Dolph Lundgren? No. Is he as big as He-Man himself? No, but he's lean, he's big, he's muscular. He fits the costume certainly well. And I have a feeling that especially as Nicholas gets older and he's got more time for training and maybe makes it more of a, I don't want to say an everyday thing for him, but more of a natural thing, especially if he's going to be playing Masters of the Universe for a long time. Keeping my fingers crossed that the movie successfully gets a sequel. I would not be surprised if we see Nicholas playing a He-Man that gets bigger and bigger over time. But I do find it important that he explains that it's really not for the faint of heart, for sure. On this mid-May morning, Galazine is filming a scene in Eternia's Enchanted Forest with Camelia Mendez. I think they have an image of that. Let me pull up the image while I talk through this. Where this might be it. In an Enchanted Forest with Camelia Mendez, the Riverdale alum plays Adam's childhood friend and skilled royal guard Tila, who was sent to Earth to find Adam and teleport him back today. In today's scene, Tila's Talon fighter-inspired ship has crashed following a high-flying showdown with Skeletor's army. While the film crew resets and adjusts some equipment, Galantine chats with EW about his complicated body transformation, which took a while to get it right and involved a lot of bulking before cutting, and his barely there costume, which is a second nature now. He says it's a peculiar thing being in a mini skirt and harness while everyone's fully dressed in puffer jackets and whatnot. Saying nearly a year later, chatting with EW while on his way home after filming another movie. So I guess he was doing this and filming the movie at the same time. Obviously, it's such a personal journey for you, and you see your body every day. Really, it's not till people who've seen you 6 months prior then see you there in Eternia, Snake Mountain, Subternia, whatever it may be. You gain validation off of other people's reaction to you. So he clearly has impressed. He clearly has impressed. Like people that knew him maybe at the beginning of this shoot or when they were first brought on board, to kind of see him now coming on the stage dressed up in his He-Man costume. Yeah, I'm sure with the looks and the reactions and how people treat you, he probably feels like he embodies that character. Apparently, He-Man was supposed to have been a movie in development with Sony and then Netflix at one point in time. But it says, but after a budget disagreement, the Netflix film fell apart despite being really close to going into production. Then a certain woman came along who says had a huge impact in the filmmaking, making Masters happen, aka Barbie. The 2023 blockbuster and Best Picture Oscar nominee laid the groundwork for Mattel to take He-Man the extra mile with the help of two real-life women who were critical in getting Barbie out of the box, Robbie Brenner and Courtney Valentine. So it shows you the faith and belief that after Mattel scored huge with Barbie, some of the swings that they can take with maybe some of the IP. And so the fact that this movie was struggling to get off the ground over at Sony and Netflix, I'm really glad to see that Mattel certainly didn't give up based off of the success of Barbie, and if anything, probably had them decide we really need to push the envelope in regards to this movie. And so the fact that they wind up bringing somebody in like Travis Knight to do it, I think is probably the best man for the job. They do believe that He-Man is a four-quadrant movie appealing to both male and female audiences and those both over and under the age of 25. Important demographics to secure to replicate some of that Barbie success. I don't know if this is going to be a full-on Barbie success, but I do think from everything that I've heard, people have said they've enjoyed the movie. It's a really fun ride, and that they've been impressed. So I'm really hoping that certainly carries over to general audiences, if you know what I mean. Um, so you talk about finding him. Blumenthal chalks it up to not knowing what our Adam really needed to be, but he thinks it all worked out the way it was supposed to. Here's the reality: some of them had the body, talking about casting. Some of them had the acting chops. I don't know anyone that have could have done it the way Nick did it, because not only did he fully commit, his body transformation was 100% real. There are no tricks, there are no pills, there's no thing. I sat there with him for months. He did it old school. Oh, that's another really cool shot of He-Man. He looks great in this one, if you ask me. I mean, look at the quads, dude. Really defined. The arms really defined. I wonder how tall Nicholas certainly is also. He looks like he might be a pretty tall dude. Director Travis Knight remembers not seeing Galatine for several weeks during pre-production, but when they reconnected, the actor's transformation was obvious. The director says he was training on set as we were in prep, and when I saw him again, I was like, holy shit. I couldn't believe how much he had changed. He had put on so much muscle in such a short period of time. Sometimes I look at photos back when I first met him, it's like a totally different dude. He says he wasn't super aware of Nick's work. I'd seen some of his stuff, but the actors who auditioned, they eventually narrowed casting down to Nicholas Galadine and two others. The director says he knew pretty much immediately upon meeting Nick that, oh yeah, this is the dude. From our initial conversation, it was like, oh my God, this guy's perfect. Knight also says, as a He-Man super fan since childhood, I watched the cartoon, I played with toys, I read the comics. To this day, I still have Adam's introductory speech committed to memory. I could recite it for you. I won't, but I could. He knew exactly what he was looking for in someone to play Adam. That's crazy. I honestly didn't realize how big of a fan Travis Knight was. Like, I knew he had to be a fan because, if anything, one of the things that I had been reading is that Mattel was really impressed with the pitch that Travis Knight had given to making Masters of the Universe. And I can almost guarantee you that Adam introductory speech that he's talking about, he probably performed that for Mattel. He probably read that speech line for line just to prove to them how much of an Adam fan or He-Man fan that he certainly was. And I got to tell you, knowing this now, bro, I'm so glad. I am so glad that he's at the forefront. What we're asking in terms of performance from this actor is extraordinary. There's so many different things that they have to play, and so that's why I knew that I just needed the actor. I needed the artist. It wasn't about finding the most jacked dude I could. It was about finding the person who could embody the spirit of this character that we were trying to create, and then hopefully we could find a way to get them jacked along the way. I would think that that's kind of a success, if you ask me. Let's see here. Trying to see what else we can talk about here. One of the things was He-Man's ability to summon strength via a sword and lightning, and the phrase, by the power of Grayskull, I have the power. Even with that famous incantation that Adam would say, I thought that was really it's about all these things kind of commingling. I thought that it was really interesting. It was baked in the DNA right from the beginning. That became the basis for Knight's movie, the script for which was written by his longtime collaborator. The shape of the story was already there, Butler says, of working off the story that had been crafted by the Nee brothers and writer David Callahan for the previous studio attempts. A lot of what Travis and I wanted to be was to to nod to the thing that we loved as much as kids, take it back to its roots. If Barbie was the toy for girls, He-Man was the toy for men. It was about might and power and being top dog. And so definitively what definitely thematically, I wanted to lean into that and what it means to be a man and what it means to be a human. Knight recalls the mantra of the time: real men don't cry, boys don't cry. If you express any kind of vulnerability, you must immediately punch a fence post to establish equilibrium, he says, of growing up in that decade. Knight saw this as a chance to examine how that mentality has changed. It was really interesting way for us to explore these things that are happening in our culture, for us to compare and contrast what that stuff meant in the 80s versus what it means now. Dog, bro, you have got my attention, Travis Knight. This is what I'm talking. This is the concept of taking He-Man, found putting him in the foundation of an 80s world, and yet being able to modernize him for today's time. It's exactly what Barbie did, and having Travis Knight coming in and being able to do that for He-Man, I find this extraordinary. You know, I, as somebody that grew up in the 80s and as a millennial, I understand that mindset completely of, as a man, you do not cry, you do not show fear, you do not shed tears. You have to be the strong foundational piece, whether it be in the family, whether it be in society, sort of thing. It was definitely looked down upon if you did. But times have changed. That mentality is so toxic, in the sense of keeping that stuff bottled inside of you just makes you more toxic. Like, it really ruins your mentality in in regards to things, damages your ability to have any level of empathy for other people, sort of thing. Being able to have be in touch with your own feelings and be very aware of where your mentality is and how you're thinking and what you're feeling is so incredibly important, because in turn, those are the things that I think, I don't want to say make you a man truly, but I do think that it allows you to understand how to balance your emotions, walk through life a little bit better, be able to have a confidence in yourself that allows you to stand above the rest. Like, confidence in yourself is strength. It's not about how big your muscles are, it's not about how hard you can certainly punch. It is a self-awareness and a guide, a knowing who you are, certainly as a person, that really makes the man. And so I am kind of curious to see, like, how Adam, um what his personality is certainly going to be like. I don't think he's going to be like this little whimpering kid or anything like that, or this little big whimpering man that, cries all the time, or whatever the case may be. But it will be interesting to kind of see how Travis takes the mindset of how we felt about what being a man was in the 80s, and sort of, I don't want to say redefining it, but putting into a much better context of maybe how unhealthy that mentality is, and really reworking that into allowing us as men for a present day to appreciate ourselves a little bit more in regards to the strength that we naturally have as leaders, as men within our community, and understanding that it's a lot more than just having muscles and being able to punch hard. You know what I mean? There's a lot more ways that we can express our masculinity, and having sort of that, I don't want to use the word dominance or anything like that, but still having our place within society be respected. And I think a lot of that stuff has just been watered down to just that classic old school mentality that doesn't really get people anywhere. So what they've tried to do with Barbie, you can clearly see that they brought Travis Knight in to try and do the same thing for He-Man. And I think that's brilliant. And while He-Man has strength and muscles and spades, there's another side to him, one that Knight found more compelling. At the same time, he was talking about kindness. He was talking about friendship and compassion. He was somebody who cared, and he essentially like bronzed empathy coach in furry underpants. That's what I'm talking about, the power of empathy, right? And caring for other people and protecting other people. It was unique, it was different. And certainly for a kid like me, I was a sensitive kid. I was an artist. I was kind of a weird guy, you might say. I made friends slowly, when I made them at all. I was comfortable with my own company, and I had deep thoughts and deep feelings, but I had a hard time making those type of deep connections easily with others. And so that very notion that strength and sensitivity could commingle, it was seismic. It was like discovering you can own both a tank and a diary. And I love that. I love that because some people would say, as a man, you can't have a diary, right? Like you can't have those other sensitive aspects to who you are. You got to be the tank. And that shit is that's a toxic wasteland for us men to kind of keep our heads in after all these years. The fact that you have the ability to balance both of those aspects is what makes you a man in regards to being able to be confident, compassionate for other people. And so the fact that he's really going to be exploring that, man, I'm excited for this. I'm really excited for this. Because look, this ain't going to be some wimpy He-Man. I mean, you just look at the action pieces in here. He's bringing the action. He's kicking some ass. So he's capable of doing both things. And I really hope that that resonates with a lot of people. Um, Galantine recognizes instantly in the story Knight and Butler set out to tell. Very rarely you get a script and you understand the character immediately. You quite confidently feel like I can embody this person, is what Nicholas said. This was like playing two characters in a lot of ways. We're not reinventing the wheel necessarily, but the arc was so powerful. And I think as someone who grew up in the very masculine sphere of rugby, but always felt like a really sensitive, emotionally intuitive person, I really did see myself in this character. Boy, that's perfection, if you ask me. Let me see. As a young boy in Eternos, Adam, along with all the other children there, including Tila, were trained to be part of the Royal Guard by Man at Arms. There's another cool Man at Arms image here, also being played by Idris Elba. Duncan is Man at Arms' name. It says Duncan very much represents a different kind of man from a different era. It was critical to me that I approached each one of these characters and their points of view with sensitivity, without judgment. Duncan's a very different guy with very different ideas on these types of issues. But when you listen to what he says, he's not wrong about some of that stuff, nor is Adam. The director continues with the diminutive young prince who preferred to dance around making a fool of himself rather than participate in arms training. We see that he is a little bit different in this world full of aggressively healthy, buff people. He's a bit of a weed. He doesn't feel like he belongs in this place, and there's a very good reason for that. I would assume talking about his time as Prince Adam here, as it looks as though we got a moment of Duncan and Adam certainly talking with each other. Probably talking about the importance of responsibility, stepping up for your family, stepping up for your people, sort of thing, instead of fooling around kind of all the time. When we meet Adam, he's an adult. His home planet and sword are all he can talk about, humorously slow, so to the point that it gets in the way of his personal life. His life on Earth is a little soulless. It's a little mundane. It's devoid of color in life. It's frustrating because Adam feels like he sees the best in people. He wants the best for people, but it doesn't feel like any of that is reciprocated for him. What is it like to be a pariah for such a young age and always be gaslit into thinking that there's something wrong with you, but also the feeling that you weren't really at home on your home planet either? So it's that feeling of not really belonging anywhere. Man, I'm sure a lot of people could probably resonate with that one as well. Is there a Tila section in here? Oh yeah, there is a Tila section. Look, we even have a brand new Tila image for you guys too. She's a warrior. She's trained. She's much more physically adept than Adam is. Certainly at the beginning of the movie, she's a better fighter. She's more acrobatic. She's smart. She's strategic in ways that Adam isn't. But also, there's a deep empathy underneath her, like Adam. And I think that's the thing that binds them together. That they see the world slightly differently. We see that in minor ways, and how she cares for her father, and how she believes in her father even after he spirals, and how she believes in Adam, who is showing no outward signs of being able to be the champion of Grayskull. She believes in him. Alba also admits he wasn't familiar with Duncan from the cartoons outside of him being strong and had that incredible mustache, he says. So his focus was on the script, and it was honoring, which is the family history and his job as the man at arms. I wanted to bring a human story to Duncan because he has a really lovely father-daughter story that I really wanted to bring some color to. I love that idea, man. There's a lot more to this article here that I'll definitely leave up to you guys. So certainly check out if you want to in your own time. There was also another behind the scenes clip here. It looks as though Tila and Adam in their spaceship. This might be them going to Eternia for the first time. But yeah, man, that's Masters of the Universe, baby. Again, that's from Entertainment Weekly, brand new article that just dropped this week. If you want to finish off the article for you guys itself, you certainly can go ahead and do that, man. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Marcelino, what's up, Marcelino? Hey, Superman Day was a while ago. Was it? Maybe I missed Superman Day already. A Supergirl Day is headed though here soon. I think it's supposed to be a summer of Supergirl and DC is supposed to be celebrating it, comics and studio wise, if I'm not mistaken, maybe in June or whatever the case may be. But look, man, Masters of the Universe, the more and more that I read about it, hearing how Travis Knight came on board, his mentality of some of the themes that he wants to certainly talk about with this film, I think is really brilliant and very needed in this day and age, where I do think us as men, I think sometimes we do tend to lose our way, you know, whether it's maybe as a society, some people have felt they've been left behind or kind of disregarded or whatever the case may be. I do think though, as men, there's a lot of interpersonal inward looking that we certainly have to do, right? Like this feels terrible to say, and I say this only because like men sometimes feel like they're under attack, or that like they're not being respected enough, sort of thing. I mean, I don't really feel too sorry for men, in the sense that we still control a lot of things in our society. You know, we're still the president of the United States, right? We're still majorly like CEOs of big companies, right? Like men still run the world. Like, let's not get that twisted, right? So this whole woe is me sort of mentality is like not a really good look for men at all, because it just doesn't line up with the reality of the world. But I will say, the world has gotten more toxic for us men, in which we tend to fall down these really horrible pipelines and feed our mental state with things that are just really toxic and bad for us, and allows us to lose empathy for people and compassion for people, and start to feel like me all the time. And forget everybody else, sort of thing. So I do think that there are things in society that are definitely ruining the men's psyche. But I also think as men, we also need to kind of take control of our own personal lives and do a lot of self-discovery on our own. Like, there are some things that we have no control over, that we can't help. We can't help what media necessarily pushes down our throat. We can't necessarily control certain narratives that are out there in the world. But the one thing that we can control is our own actions and the things that we do to take care of ourselves and our own mentality. And once we start becoming more self-aware as to who we are, pulling back some of those layers, the parts of us that we don't want to have to come to terms with, whether that's built up resentment or hate towards people or a certain group of people or family members, whatever the case may be, like we have to work on ourselves. That's the one thing that we certainly can control. And we have to get this toxic masculinity mindset out of the way of I'm owed everything because I'm a man. I can control everybody because I'm a man. The idea of like, if you want to be strong, that's fine. If you want to hit the gym, well, that's fine. But that don't make you a man. Like that don't make you a man. And I think all true men should have a great balance of those things in regards to understanding themselves, being compassionate and empathetic, and being protectors. And also, like, if you want to go to the gym, if you want to box, if you want to do MMA, do all that shit because that's cool, right? Like us, man, we love to do cool shit that looks awesome and flashy and fun, right? Like, let's do some dangerous shit. But we also have to be able to have another side to us that we can switch off and switch on when it's certainly needed. And I'm really hoping that a movie like this can draw some eyes in regards to seeing somebody like He-Man that is huge and built and physical and active and fighting and things like that, but also has the mentality of being able to have compassion as well. Very much quasi Superman in that regards. So we'll see, but I think Travis Knight is definitely the man for the job, and I love this breakdown from Entertainment Weekly. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in the live chat down below or the comments after this video airs. I believe Masters of the Universe was also at CinemaCon. They believe that they showed footage. And again, the footage that people have continued to see has said this movie looks really fun. This movie looks really fun. Looks like a good time at the theaters. And I plan on seeing it opening day for sure on the biggest screen that I possibly can. Let's go ahead and dive into our next topic, though. We're going to go ahead and switch our gears over to Marvel Studios because if there's anybody that had a big CinemaCon, it's Avengers Doomsday. Avengers Doomsday had a massive CinemaCon footage that dropped. I'm surprised that they didn't drop the trailer to the general public. I thought for sure the next day we probably would have gotten footage from the Avengers Doomsday trailer, but we have not. We do have a description of the trailer that I'll definitely go ahead and break down for you guys, so we can talk a little bit about it. But it seems as though also that Avengers Doomsday plans on holding its release date. Some people have said, look, man, you're going up against Dune Part 3. They've kind of co-sponsored this release date as Doomsday, similar to Barbenheimer, if you will. The only difference is Dune and Avengers Doomsday really share the same quadrant of fans sort of thing. So there's a lot of worry that they may eat into each other's box office, and that's definitely possible. Dune does have all the IMAX screens for this particular time period as well. Avengers will not be on IMAX. So some people thought to themselves, maybe Avengers Doomsday certainly might move to an earlier date or a later date to maybe get some IMAX screenings. That does not look to be the case. They seem to be going full steam ahead so far still for Dune and Doomsday to release on the same day. People saw the Dune trailer and they said, uh-oh, Avengers Doomsday may need to move. And I can tell you right now, after people have saw the Avengers Doomsday trailer, they ain't saying that shit no more. Okay? They are not saying Avengers Doomsday should certainly move because of Dune. Avengers Doomsday is gonna be just fine. Let me just say that right now. But let's go ahead and dive into some of this stuff, man. We got a couple articles that we're gonna go through. First being from a Hollywood Reporter themselves, saying Avengers Doomsday trailer shakes CinemaCon as Robert Downey Jr. unveils Doom's first look. Doom came to CinemaCon. Marvel Studios honcho Kevin Feige took the stage. Doomsday picks up where Avengers Endgame left off. Feige also expressing his excitement in the introducing the X-Men or the Avengers to the X-Men. Doomsday returns directors Anthony and Joe Russo to helm the movie. A script also written by Michael Waldron and Stephen McFeely. Russo said of Doom, he's not simply a villain, he's one of the most complex Marvel characters. He's always 3 moves ahead. At that, Downey also took the stage to the tune of Rolling Stone's Sympathy for the Devil. The star, who is known for his previous Marvel cinematic role as Tony Stark, he said, I couldn't have imagined reuniting with this amazing team, let alone as a new character. The team then revealed the trailer that provided the first look at Downey's Doctor Doom and his mask. Let me bring up this description for you guys so we can also read what went down with this particular trailer. We've seen Doctor Doom in action for Avengers Doomsday. This comes to us from Gizmodo. Let me shrink my camera down just a little bit. Also, is this the one I want? Yeah, that's the one I want. Spoiler one. Okay, so it starts on the sign of Xavier's school. It's on a rubble-filled floor. Professor X looks out the window and sees something massive coming towards him. It looks like he accepts his fate. Something's coming, Dr. Doom says. Something we may not be able to deter. We see an image of him kneeling and looking up to the sky. Before this day is done, we'll be faced with an unthinkable decision, is what Dr. Doom says. Probably maybe like an incursion happening, the idea of maybe having to sacrifice another world in order for one world to survive. We cut to the Avengers Tower, which looks brand new with a large red and white A on the front. Thor is speaking. I've fought with many warriors in my time. He's surrounded by the Thunderbolts, Captain America, Bucky, Ant-Man, and more. They were far stronger than all of us put together, and they died. They died facing enemies and threats that scared me far less than this one, Thor continues. This is intercut with the Fantastic Four arriving at the tower, shots of Shuri and several Wakandans, including M'Baka and Namor. We see them meeting Thing and some others. I also hear that shot that we see of them in the desert, they did a Fantastic Four trailer. Remember that quick snippet that we had, like 20, 30 seconds? Where you see M'Baku, Shuri, the Wakandans, and Namor. I think they were meeting the Fantastic Four on the desert land, on that desert scene that we saw. From what I've been hearing from the trailer, that's not really a desert, but that's like the ocean floor after being parted, like Moses, like Namor parts the sea, sort of thing. If that's true, that's a crazy shot. There's a brief shot of Thor arriving on a large field and Doom standing in the distance. It says, their sacrifice will have meant nothing if we do not stand together. Thor's narration adds, put aside your petty squabbles, presume nothing except this. If you return, you will return as brothers and sisters. So it looks like they're getting ready to go into the battlefield. They look like they're ready to rumble. I wonder if this is the lead up to Avengers facing off against Doom or facing off against X-Men. Are we getting the big Avengers versus X-Men battle? Because after Thor says that, preparing his men for battle, it says, where'd it go? Oh, it says, we see Cyclops burst into a room, blasting from his visor. Shang-Chi and Gambit battling somewhere. So we got a Shang-Chi and Gambit fight going down. We see Mystique turning Yelena as she fights Yelena. So we got Yelena versus Yelena in this movie. Ant-Man says goodbye to his daughter, Cassie. That's right, Cassie's returning. Namor flies around screaming. Sue Storm screams as a large wave rises above her. Finally, Thor jumps and brings Stormbreaker down on Doom, who stops it easily. But mark my words, we're going to need a miracle, he says. Hey, pal. A sudden familiar sounding voice off screen says, it's not possible, a shocked Thor says. He holds Mjolnir out and it flies into the hand of the other person. Steve Rogers, baby. Steve Rogers is back. Hey, pal. And takes Mjolnir for himself. That's crazy. There's no word on when the rest of the world is going to see this trailer, but when they do, expect the internet to go wild. Dude, this is crazy. What a way to end a trailer, dude. The return of Steve Rogers, wielding Mjolnir once again, like he did when he was in Avengers Endgame. Bro, I cannot wait for this movie. I cannot wait for this movie. I truly cannot. There was also, let me stop this one. There's also another article. I think Entertainment Weekly also got the opportunity to step behind the scenes after CinemaCon. Let's see what they had to say. Marvel saw X-Men's Avengers Doomsday return as opportunity to pit multi-universes against each other. This is an exclusive from Entertainment Weekly. Following the reveal at CinemaCon, they shared new information on the event's film story. The company teased that heroes from 3 distinct universes will be set on a deadly collision course and face an existential threat unlike anything they've ever encountered. 3 distinct universes. I wonder what that means, because I automatically think of the MCU and Fox's X-Men universe. What could the 3rd distinct universe be? Like the First Class set of X-Men movies, maybe? But, you know, to be fair, I mean, maybe they also were talking about like the Fox non-X-Men Marvel universe with like Daredevil, Ghost Rider, and things like that. Blade, you know what I mean? I wonder if that's like they consider that a 3rd distinct universe also. Backstage at the convention, or maybe the Fantastic Four world, but Fantastic Four is going to be in the MCU by the time that this movie kind of takes place. Heroes from 3 distinct universes, but to be fair, Fantastic Four is from another universe. So maybe if they're saying heroes from 3 distinct universes, maybe that's what they mean, right? Like our MCU people, the Fantastic Four, who is from a completely different universe, and then the Fox's X-Men universe. Backstage at the convention for the movie theater owners, Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige, accompanied by Doomsday directors, the Russo brothers, emphasized how the original X-Men actors became a big part of that multiversal collision. We're not talking too much about story, but I think people know that the story of Doomsday is inspired by a very famous comic run in which universes are colliding and Earths encounter one another and different timelines encounter one another. And in movie speak, what that allows for us to do is to get different casts from different franchises. He does talk about the 20th Century Fox X-Men world. I was part of the first couple many films many years ago. Now that we're back home, we thought we have to utilize them. Deadpool and Wolverine was our first opportunity to do that and touch upon it, and it just felt like an amazing opportunity to pit the multi universes against each other, but you care about all of them. He noted the generations of people who care about the original cast of the X-Men, the original Avengers, the new Avengers, and the Fantastic Four. Bringing them all together is what we have tasked the brothers with doing for us. I also heard that Kevin Feige did mention the idea that their next movie that they plan on tackling the Secret Wars is set to be one of their most ambitious movies that they've ever had to certainly do. And I definitely do think that's true. Look, man, I don't know when this trailer is going to drop. If I had to put my money on it, I would say maybe next week, maybe just randomly first thing Monday morning, so nobody has a case of the Mondays at all. If they can make it through this entire weekend of cinema, well, I think CinemaCon is wrapped up if I'm not mistaken. But if they can make it through this entire week without the trailer itself leaking or anything like that, then yeah, I would hope maybe releasing it Monday. I don't necessarily know what they're waiting for, unless they're waiting for, I mean, we are still, what, like 8 months out from this movie dropping. So there's probably no rush, if you ask me, especially considering the fact that we do have a Spider-Man movie that's set to drop also in June this year. There's a part of me that wonders if they will wait to release it the week of the Spider-Man release, so that it plays in front of Spider-Man movies on the trailer as well. At least that's what I'm hope. I assume it probably will be attached to Spider-Man, regardless. Whether or not they want to wait to release it to the general public until then, I don't know. But I would say if I had my two choices, they will either release it next week, like literally like anytime between Monday and Wednesday of next week, or they will release it a little bit closer to that of Spider-Man. Um, but the marketing campaign for this has got to play itself really well. Timing is certainly everything, but we'll see what happens in regards to that. But this movie is going to be bonkers. Like I just don't. I am not one of those naysayers in the sense of I have felt Marvel Studios certainly turning things around. The last like bad MCU movie I probably saw, which didn't really do anything for me, was probably Captain America: Brave New World. It's really unfortunate to say because I do like Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, Captain America, but I did not care for that movie whatsoever. You can tell the rewrites were certainly everywhere, really rushing to make that movie complete. But after that, Thunderbolts, spectacular film. Fantastic Four, really enjoyable for me. I really enjoyed that movie. I feel like they're on a really good momentum right now in regards to bringing Avengers Doomsday to life. Anybody that I know that has read the script has gushed about this movie in regards to that it's really going to surprise certainly a lot of people. People were going crazy at CinemaCon for the footage that they wind up seeing in here. And I just trust the Russo brothers when it comes to MCU movies. I think the addition again of Stephen McFeely, who also helped them write the previous two Avenger movies, if I'm not mistaken, he's certainly back to come to help them sort of crack the story. And I think Michael Waldron is really fantastic. He was like working on the Loki series also, if I'm not mistaken, right? So he's got like a sci-fi aspect element of him. He's from the Rick and Morty um um creators and whatnot and writers. So they brought him on board too. So the Russos, McFeely, Michael Waldron, these are all people within the MCU that have done things that have proven to be gold and worthy of certainly our attention. And so you tell me you're bringing them back, and then you're getting the opportunity to see our Avengers return, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men. Like Shang-Chi versus Gambit, excuse me? Yelena versus Yelena as Mystique, excuse me? Like, dude, this sounds so bonkers and so bananas. Like, I cannot wait to feel the stakes that are certainly at play here. And the fact that Doctor Doom is even in this movie as a returning Robert Downey Jr. and Steve Rogers comes back. Like, I get the worry and the concern that some people certainly have of like, oh, this just feels like a cheap cash grab sort of thing. Nah, bro. Nah, bro. Like, I don't think these, because of the fact of how much these two, I'm talking Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr., care about the characters that they play in the MCU and understand their impact for it. I just don't know if they would come back just to come back. I got to think that there's something really riveting and really cool about their return that really just kind of makes sense. And I find it fascinating too that they talk about Avengers Doomsday picks up right where Avengers Endgames sort of left off at. And I don't know if that's necessarily like what that I don't necessarily know what that means. Like, is there an important event that happens right after Avengers Endgame? Whether that be, it's probably, if I'm not mistaken, it's probably literally the Peggy and Steve scene. It probably is. Like it's probably the two of them dancing in love, kissing, and then the movie probably starts with somebody knocking at the door. And maybe it's a very familiar face. So, in the sense of starts off where Endgame left off at, I can easily see that happening. I don't think that means ignore everything that's happened in the other MCU movies, certainly along the way. But I think the way that he's wording it would make sense that, yeah, I could see Doomsday picking up right exactly where Endgame leaves off at with the big shock return. Maybe it's Robert Downey Jr. knocking at his door or whatever the case may be. Or maybe it's somebody else that's kind of found him in time. Maybe it's the TVA knocking on his door, realizing that he's now like an anomaly within this world, or whatever the case may be. But picking up right from that moment of him and Peggy together, and then the story can just kind of go from there into a more present day kind of scenario. But that's kind of where I'm in my head at. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe, well, Steve Rogers comes in here and he winds up getting the power of Mjolnir in his hands. I was gonna say maybe there's like a Hydra cap in here somewhere, but I would think if Steve Rogers is playing a Hydra cap, I don't think he's worthy enough to pick up Mjolnir. So I'm starting to think that that theory is probably out of the window as of right now. But regardless, this movie has me hyped, man. This movie has me hyped. This is going to be $1 billion movie, easy. I don't, whether or not it makes more than Spider-Man, whether or not it makes more than Avengers Endgame, that I certainly don't know. But Avengers Doomsday is about to whip out that and remind y'all exactly who the Avengers are, baby. Like, I'm just being honest. So I am not worried about this movie at all. I'm highly anticipating this thing for sure. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Avengers Doomsday. I certainly cannot wait. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in regards to everything that you've heard from this movie coming together. Oh, Marcelino, why should I be afraid of Doctor Doom if Gaia from Secret Invasion has all the powers of every character and save everyone? I love it. I love it. Um, he does say unless Chris Evans is playing both Steve Rogers and Hydra Cap, and we see the two of them fight each other. That's a possibility too. That's a possibility too. Chris Evans did walk out on stage at CinemaCon, I believe, with the green like sports jacket on. Um, so sometimes I wonder, like, little subtleties like that. I wonder if they're trying to hint at the crowd a little bit. So um it's a possibility. It's a possibility. The Hydra Cap thing is one that I've thought for a really long time as a possibility. Like Robert Downey Jr. Knocks on the door as, I don't know if he introduces himself as Tony or Victor Von Doom, but I'm sure when the door opens, Chris Evans probably just sees Tony, and that'd be a really great way of kind of like recruiting him, if you will, into his fight. But again, this is just all speculation and on my part. But yeah, who knows? It could be one of the other things too is that one of the we talked about after seeing the Captain America trailer was, we don't even know if this is our Cap. We don't even know if this is Cap on our world or if it's from someplace else entirely, from another universe or whatever the case may be. So we'll see. We'll see how it all unfolds. Marcel says many people say they don't want Captain Carter to return unless it's to be brutally murdered by Doctor Doom, so Marvel can apologize for creating it. That's just gross. That's just fucking like that's just needless. Like that. No, we don't. That's just like why do people got to go there, dude? Like I get the idea of like not liking the character, but then wishing a brutal murder for somebody because you have animosity towards a fake character, like, bro, like pump the brakes, people. Like, that's just sick, bro. Like, why she gotta be brutally murdered? Why can't she just be ripped to another dimension or like vanished in thin air or something like that? But brutally murdered, like that just sounds like a sick, like fantasy that people have. That's just gross, dude. That's just gross. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in regards to Avengers Doomsday. Actually, while we get ready for our next topic, let me get my headphones ready because it's trailer time, baby. We're about to knock back some trailers to talk about here today. I think the next one up, though, let me see. What's our next topic today? Oh, baby. Street Fighter is in the news here this week. Ever since we got the teaser trailer for this movie, along with some of the character posters, I've been super hyped for this. The fact that Street Fighter is really digging into the craziness of it all, embracing the video game-esque sort of quality behind it, whether that comes across as goofy or over the top or whatever the case may be. I appreciate the fact that they are taking themselves seriously enough to have some fun with this movie, if you will. Some characters I certainly would like to see pop up in here. That's not on this poster. Sagat would have been really great, honestly. I'm kind of surprised that Sagat's not in here. But maybe in a potential sequel. We did get brand new posters too for you guys. This movie releases October 16th. Ready, set, fight. We also got villain posters along with hero posters to go along with it as well. Let me see. Do I have this on my? I'm sure I have it on my Facebook page. Let me see if I can find it on my Facebook page so we can pull it up and watch it together. Because yeah, this movie this trailer deserves to be seen again. I'm a big fan of all the flashy colors and how like visually this movie just looks so damn stunning to me personally. I really cannot wait for it. Okay. There we go. Let me bring this up here. And then we will bring up the audio for this. We there? Okay, cool. I might bring myself into some of this image here. I may be pausing and stopping as we talk about it a little bit. So maybe help with the copyright of it all. So if I stop and pause and talk, don't mind me. But let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I got good news, y'all. Gathered here are the world's best fighters.
I won't deny it, I'm a street fighter.
But only one of which will be great. First off, I love the set designs of that we've seen in here. The different arenas, the different settings, different lighting. It just feels really distinct. It feels like very comic booky to me for sure, or video gamey. The world champion of street fighting. Like the lens flares, the bright colors sort of thing, the neon stuff. I mean, it just really works for me. Ooh.
Perfect.
You're not a warrior anymore. You're a sideshow.
Was Ken and Dan, were they like besties in the video game? Did they know each other in the video game? It looks like Dan's out there in the audience hyping him up. Maybe he's just a fan. But I love seeing Ken here, bro, and just like his I'm trying to remember the Street Fighter 2 movie and just like the personality of Ken. Was he sort of like the rogue one going out for fame, or really like the extreme type of stuff? I am kind of curious as to, I trying to remember what Ken's personality was like, but he's embracing the fight life and everything that certainly comes with it for sure.
You're not a warrior anymore. You're a sideshow.
What's up, MTV? I'm Ken Masters.
Yo, the car, that looks so dope.
Woo! Were you gonna show?
Dude, even 50
Redemption.
Cent looks ripped. Dang, that's a great shot. That's a great visual. I wonder, I mean, I think 50's probably always kept himself in great shape, but I think he's probably even maybe bulked out or slimmed down a little bit for this movie, but the visuals just go hard, man.
Were you gonna show?
Ooh, Ken versus Ryu.
The path I'm on now is not one of combat.
Oh,
Maybe it's Ken's turn to be champion.
if we can get a Ken and Ryu story in here, I would absolutely love that. It's always been a storyline between those two that I've been really big fans of, considering they're training together and stuff. The idea of like maybe it's Ken's turn sort of thing seems as though Rio's need to get him in shape again.
How did you find me?
I'm paid to find champions,
Ooh, Zangief.
even if they're lost.
My man Ken is going through it, ain't he?
Good to see you, old friend. Still reckless.
Oh, that's yo.
Sit down.
Yo, the choreography, bro, the action is gonna go so hard in this movie, dude. The choreography is gonna go so hard in this movie. It did say there was a banner of M. Bison saying World Tournament Championships 1993. Is that when this is set? Is this set during the 90s? That would make sense, period, piece wise. Like just when the popularity of it, even the idea of like MTV Cribs being on here, like the MTV symbol, also makes me think this might be taking place during the 90s. So interesting time placement, if that's true.
This tournament is not what it seems. We have to be ready.
Everyone keeps crying about your thighs. I don't see what the big deal is.
I do. Dang.
Bitch, please.
Yo. Chun-Li about to be a star in this movie, dude. Chun-Li, Ryu, and Ken, just from the trailer alone, I'm locked in on their characters. I'm immediately locked in on their characters. It seems as though like either she works for an organization, is definitely trying to recruit Ken, or trying to get Ken in shape, maybe reaches out to Ryu to kind of bring him back into the fold to really help them kind of win this tournament sort of thing against M. Bison. Bro, I'm locked in. I don't see, everyone goes on about your thighs. I don't really see the big deal. Bitch, please. Yo, great work. Ooh, Zangief with the German suplexes. The Honda. God.
That was some abracadabra shit.
I didn't care for that line though. Ooh, the Dalsim, bro, the Dalsim stretch, arm stretch. Oh, Blanca, bro.
I'm positive that a fireball came out of Ryu.
Do it, Ryu!
Let's go. October 16th cannot come soon enough, dude. Like, this movie looks so damn good. How is it possible in 2026 we've got a great looking Mortal Kombat movie and a great looking Street Fighter movie? I'm gonna have so much fun with this movie. Just like some of the dialogue really hits. If they can, from a writing standpoint, really like land on the Ryu and Ken stuff, along with Chun-Li, and just the concept of all these really cool and unique characters, giving them a great personality and moments to shine during this tournament, bro. Take my money. Take my money now, please. Even the Cody Rhodes as Gaio, I'm pretty sure I saw a fireball coming out of Ryu. I mean, if I even this week, I literally have seen Cody Rhodes dressed up as Guile doing press tours, like in character doing interviews. And it is the funniest and coolest thing. He may look absolutely ridiculous, but I think Cody Rhodes is definitely going to bring his A game for this one. But this just looks so much fun from like a stylistic perspective. It immediately separates itself from Mortal Kombat in regards to another like tournament based video game, fighter sort of thing, and really is fully embracing the 90s concept and the fun of what makes Street Fighter just brilliant from a game standpoint. I mean, so again, if they can really nail the characters down, incredible choreography with fantastic stylized filmmaking and lighting and set design, I think those will be enough to put this movie over the top of even say something like a mediocre script, honestly. But I do think this is going to be a quite appealing movie. And I honestly, bro, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this movie. I really can't. The more and more that I see of it, the more hyped I really get. Pexy says, I like the latest trailer of Street Fighter. The animated movie was way more dark than the video game. This movie is like the game. Yeah, no, I would agree. I think the animated movie certainly had some really adult and dark themes that I don't know if they're going to tap into any of those aspects for this movie, but the movie does feel more like a video game. And I do think that there's something heavy in regards to Ken and Rio's life that is probably something that is going to be addressed in here in order to get Ken back to sort of full form. Ken was more of the fame life, I believe. So yeah, I could definitely see that. Mortal Kombat would not exist without Street Fighter. Yeah, I recall Street Fighter being the first one out. I believe Street Fighter was on NES, wasn't it? The first like Street Fighter game was on NES before it became much bigger in regards to Street Fighter 2 and other things. But let me know if I'm wrong or not. A little off topic says, haven't there been times you wanted a terrible written character to die because they ruined a certain show or movie for you? I'm sure there must be a few times for you, like, to die. Well, let me think on that. I'm not sure. Let me think on that. But yeah, guys, that's the trailer for Street Fighter. Let me know what you guys think. What's your anticipation level for this? I'm looking forward to both Mortal Kombat 2 and Street Fighter in here. I definitely was more of a Street Fighter guy, I believe, during the days of like Street Fighter 2's, Street Fighter versus Capcom, Street Fighter versus X-Men. I was a very big arcade guy. I always loved playing Street Fighter games a little bit more than Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat, I think, while I enjoyed it at the arcade, I always enjoyed it a little bit more from a console kind of perspective. And I always sucked at finishing moves, honestly. Like, I could never get the damn combos right the way that I wanted to. So I always had my own frustrations with Mortal Kombat games. They're all fun in both their own rights, but I've been waiting for a Street Fighter live action for the longest time, ever since the Jean-Claude Van Damme one. And so the fact that it's finally here and it looks as good as it does, I'm locked in, baby. I'm locked in. I hope you guys certainly are too, as well. Next up, we'll be moving around a little bit. And now we're going to go to Superman, baby. Let's move over to the DCU because we got some big news in regards to Man of Tomorrow. Last week, I believe we talked a little bit about the potential casting news for Maxima. There was a short list, I believe, of 3 or 4 women that had been auditioning for this Maxima role. And this week, we officially have the news. I can't remember if this actress came out at CinemaCon or if it was announced at CinemaCon. I figured it would be announced at CinemaCon simply because of the fact that I mean, look, if you're going to be presenting Man of Tomorrow on a big stage, this is probably the opportunity to unveil who's going to be playing your Maxima character that we have been hearing so much about. And they certainly did not disappoint, ladies and gentlemen. According to Hollywood Reporter and others, for the Man of Tomorrow, it is going to be none other than Adria Arjona who wins the role in the Superman sequel. According to them, it says after several rounds of screen tests, Adria Arjona has been chosen for the mystery role in the DC Studios sequel to Superman. It was previously reported that the character was Maxima, but it is unknown if that is correct. There's a question mark on Maxima as of right now because we have been told for quite some time. First, when the casting news was released in regards to the character description, a lot of people immediately thought Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman. But then several months later, the name of Maxima wind up dropping among some sources, suggesting that Maxima was going to have a relatively big role in this movie and make her debut. So a lot of the short list and the names that people have been auditioning for, a lot of people just assumed the Maxima role. Well, now it's kind of a bit unknown. There's a little bit more, I don't want to say controversy, but a little bit more unknown aspect behind it now. It was repeatedly reported that the character was comic anti-heroine Maxima, but it's unknown if that is correct at this time. Some people are, in fact, it says if Arjona is indeed Maxima, it portends a more cosmic nature for this DC outing. She's an alien queen who has been both an antagonist and potential love interest for Superman. She did appear in the series Andor and starred with Dakota Johnson in the comedy Splitsville. I did kind of want to see Splitsville, but I don't think I had the opportunity to see it. She is actually going to be in Amazon MGM's remake of The Thomas Crown Affair, which is going to be starring and directed by Michael B. Jordan as well. So she's got a lot on her plate as of right now. But yeah, she will in fact be in Man of Tomorrow. The question now just simply remains, who exactly will she be playing in the movie itself? So to be honest and to be fair, the name Wonder Woman has come back into play here. Let me look at something here real quick. Adria Arjona. Height. How tall is she? She's 5'7". She's relatively tall for a woman. Maybe put her in some platforms. Maybe she gets to like 5'9". Workable platforms, maybe about like 5'9" or something like that. Like Wonder Woman boots, if that's the case. I love the idea and concept of Adria Arjona playing a Wonder Woman, but I'm also completely open to the idea of it truly being Maxima. Whatever role that this is going to be for her, I'm open to it. Her role in Andor really opened my eyes to her in regards to her range, what she's certainly capable of. You know, she was teased a little bit in Andor season 1, but she didn't have as much to really. I mean, she did have a lot to work with based off of the torture sequences and stuff from Andor season 1 that she had to go through. But it was really Andor season 2 that really spoke to me, and just how incredible she is as an actress. I might have to go back and check out some of her previous work, but it seems as though she's definitely being recognized a little bit more because she's getting more opportunities on the big screen, especially. But I think she can knock anybody out of the park. Like Adria as Maxima, opposite of somebody like David Cornsweet, she's got the looks for sure to be like this alien queen that comes down and is looking for a mate and feels the only person that can like share a room with her is somebody as powerful as Superman. The like romance and the sexual intensity between Maxima and Superman, if played by Adria Arjona and David Cornsweet, I think could be through the roof. I think she could easily pull off that role if she absolutely wanted to. But she also, I think, has the ability of really portraying somebody like a Wonder Woman in regards to like her, I don't want to say her regalness, but like her compassion for humanity, her curiosity for humanity, Amazonian that's been around for years, like protecting the world sort of thing. I think she could really dominate as a superwoman. So whatever role it is that she's going out for, or that she's winning as of right now, I think she's gonna do a bonkers good job with either of them. Do I have a preference? If I had a preference, it would be Wonder Woman. If I had a preference, it would be Wonder Woman. Um, when I think of Maxima, I would not mind like a legit redhead to to get that role if Maxima certainly is in it. Um, like from a physical feature standpoint, I think Adria could certainly pull off Maxima. She would probably have a little bit of a different look compared to the comic books itself, whereas I think Adria just fits like the Wonder Woman build a little bit more. I would prefer my Wonder Woman to be significantly taller, just because if she is an Amazon, I really want her to be like 5'9", 5'10", or some shit like that. But I don't know how hard or capable that is to find in Hollywood. Um, so I think if anything, I think Adria probably fits the Wonder Woman bill perfectly to me. And I almost feel like, can we not just get a natural redhead to, who's a phenomenal actress that can also do the role of Maxima as well? I mean, who knows? Maybe they're both in this movie somewhere. Or maybe the short list of 4 was actually testing not only for Maxima, but also for Wonder Woman. And maybe Adria's won the role of Wonder Woman, but somebody else has secretly already won the role of Maxima. Maybe they're both in this film. Who knows? I have no idea. But I would love to know what you guys think in regards to this brand new news of Adria Arjona winning the mystery role for Man of Tomorrow. Production is set to begin relatively soon on this movie, within the next couple months. So definitely expect, I would assume set photos to certainly leak at some point in time. It would not surprise me, similar to what James Gunn did before Man of Tomorrow, to maybe drop some official looks at some of these characters that are going to be in the movie beforehand, right? I think he did that with Superman prior, because he knew that at some point in time when they were going to be filming, they were going to be out in the open. And so cameras were going to be everywhere. And so to kind of get ahead of the game, they revealed it themselves. So I can easily see James Gunn maybe doing the same again for some of these new characters. Maybe we get an early Brainiac reveal, which I think would be pretty awesome if we can get an official first look within the next month or two before filming really begins. So let's keep our eyes peeled for some really cool revelations that are about to drop for Man of Tomorrow. And as we move on to our next topic, Blossom says, Brainiac, haven't seen him in ages, and it's been a minute since I've seen Brainiac in live action, opposite of the Krypton sci-fi series that we wind up getting a few years back. So I think a really riveting, terrifying picture of Brainiac would be really cool, like first official image for Man of Tomorrow to go ahead and kick us off way before filming begins. So keeping my fingers crossed that that's the route that James Gunn will certainly go. I think if there's any official image of anybody that we'll see for Man of Tomorrow, I do think Brainiac will be the first one that's revealed, though. So from the DCU to one of my favorite franchises, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to Star Wars, baby. That's right. The Force Report is making a guest appearance here on Hero Report today, as we're going to be talking some Mandalorian and Grogu for you guys. We did get ourselves a brand new trailer that was released over at CinemaCon, and I believe, or during CinemaCon, and was revealed and released to the public for people to certainly check out for themselves. This is in fact the final trailer that we have before we get into the movie itself, which is set to drop on May 22nd. They did give us also some brand new posters for us to enjoy. What do we have here? Let's see. Did I bring the other poster? Damn it. I don't think I got the other poster that I wanted to. It's a beautiful Grogu poster, but they did drop some format posters if you want to see this movie in IMAX. I believe I believe Jon Favreau in recent interviews did talk about the idea that this movie has like 40 minutes worth of IMAX material for you guys to check out. You can also see it in 4DX if you want to. Some really dope posters in here. See it in real 3D if you want to. And this is the way. I believe tickets are officially on sale as well for this movie. I've also heard that this movie does have sort of like an opening crawl, or at least like some sort of opening text to kind of get you up to date in regards to the characters and the setting itself. I think they might have utilized that once before, outside of the Star Wars movies themselves. Was it Solo? Maybe might have done that. I can't remember. But yeah, we got some brand new posters for you guys for The Mandalorian and Grogu, along with a brand new trailer that has dropped. So let me go ahead and bring this up for you guys, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. Make sure I got this ready to go. So here we go. Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. Again, I may be pausing and stopping, but let's go.
We've all heard stories of the Mandalorian bounty hunter and a child.
I only hunt Imperial war criminals.
First, I love the narrative by Sigourney Weaver in here in regards to the idea of we've all heard tales of a Mandalorian and his companion. This feels very like fairy tale-esque in the world of Star Wars, like a sense of fantasy. The idea that us as viewers, if we have watched the Mandalorian seasons, we know of the tales that they're kind of talking about. But this is also a really great line, I think, for general audiences that may not necessarily be familiar. But the fact that the tales of what the Mandalorian and Grogu have done throughout the galaxy is making its rounds around the galaxy, and people are hearing whispers and stuff. And I think this is a really cool introductory way for general audiences through narration by her to just let them know, just like, this character has existed in this world before. And if there is a curiosity that you might have about these tales, there's access to them and learning about them, right? But it immediately puts the Mandalorian at like this level of like this mysterious fairy tale character within this world of Star Wars that I think just really works for what George Lucas had in mind for this world to begin with.
I'll take out every bad guy in your deck of cards.
Ooh, this right here,
Bad guy in your deck
this
of
shot
cards.
of the stormtroopers inside the ATA, the AT-AT, you see how the camera is like panning all the way down the hallway. Like this is one big set piece, the inside of the AT-AT. And it looks as though we may have ourselves like a one long unedited fight sequence in here, because from some of the things that I've heard before is Mandalorian pops up in here and winds up taking all these dudes out, is what I hear. So from a cinematic perspective, I think this is going to be a brilliant shot.
This isn't about revenge. It's about preventing another war.
The music gets me, man. We've already been hit with like a Yoda theme, a Star Wars theme, seeing these X-Wings in this like gloomy, cloudy kind of planet that they're on. Man, I'm just getting Jon Favreau knows Star Wars vibes right now and knows how to make cinema.
Before going into harm's way, check your armor first.
We're protecting everything the rebellion fought for.
Ooh, she looks great in that X-Wing suit.
You're gonna need it.
That's not bad, baby.
Strap in.
Dude, they're gonna be comedy gold.
We need a professional.
Hang on.
What happens when you're not there to protect him?
You good?
Ooh.
I'll be right behind you.
The villains in this look so good.
What happens when you're not there to protect him?
You good?
Who is that? He is from, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He was in the Clone Wars, the animated series, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but like, if this is one of the threats that we have to deal with in here, along like there's just a lot of bad guys in this trailer that feel very like undergroundy to me. Bounty hunter-esque to me a little bit also. It just feels very underworld vibes, like crime syndicate level type of stuff that they're really getting involved with here, and I'm fascinated by it.
I'll be right behind you. Go. Go.
Mandalorian, you will suffer. Then it will be his turn.
Monsters. The old protect the young. And then the young.
Woo! My man literally went inside this machine and hotwired it to destroy itself, sort of thing. I believe Jon Favreau even said that there's sequences of stop motion animation in this movie, and it wouldn't surprise me if those two big giant robots are all part of that stop motion animation, going back to like the Rancor, Return of the Jedi type fight battle sequences, if you will. You know, Jon Favreau really utilizing different types of filming techniques for this movie, I think is brilliant. Honestly, it's from everything that I've heard, it's a lot less volume than I think people expect. And maybe going back to original filmmaking with big set designs and maybe some on location stuff, who certainly knows. But he's definitely tapping into every little piece of thing that I think from a filmmaker that George Lucas did with the originals. I think he's trying to make it feel a little bit like that in regards to style and effort.
Protect the old. It's time.
Are you scared? You should be.
Good job, baby.
This is the way.
You know, they say something.
Then it will be his turn.
They say something really important in this. I believe this is Din Djarin's dialogue. Just listen to his dialogue and what he's talking about in regards to just Grogu in general.
Monsters. The old protect the young. And then the young. Protect the old.
The theme of the old protect the young and the young protect the old. There's a part of me that feels like this is going to turn out to be some type of coming of age story, maybe even for somebody like Grogu. You know, we've had 3 seasons of The Mandalorian protecting Grogu, training Grogu, helping him kind of come along his path here. There clearly seems to be at some point in time a separation between Din Djarin and Grogu, right? Saying like, hey, you go ahead, I'll be right behind you. And Din Djarin runs right back into the forest, shooting people down. It wouldn't surprise me if he's then captured at that point in time, with the Hutt certainly threatening to kill Grogu. and Grogu, along with the other little small alien species, bad baby, horrible baby, trying to work together in order to save Din Djarin from a really terrible fate sort of thing, right? So this feels like Grogu now having to kind of step up and take over that leadership role and wind up saving Din, and maybe passing the mantle along in that regard. Like, I'm hoping that this isn't the end of Din Djarin. It feels very much like at some point in time there is an evolution where the young have to protect the old, as he's saying in here. And maybe this is the point of Grogu certainly stepping up. I don't know if that necessarily means this is the end of Din Djarin. Does he die at the end of this movie? Or does the concept of who the Mandalorian is eventually change, right? Like, by the end of this movie, does Grogu get full-on Mandalorian armor with like a Mando mask and his little ears sticking out the side or something like that, right? Like, is it like a passing of the torch in the sense of like you're now grown and old enough to be able to not only take care of yourselves but also be a true protector of others, sort of thing? So I don't know, but the themes of what this movie is really teasing really work for me. And if anything, this trailer has made this movie feel much bigger than I think a television series. I get the idea that people have complained like, oh, this movie just looks like a Star Wars television series. I think that's a compliment to The Mandalorian in regards to how good that series looks as a show, as a television show, so much that it's really spoiled us now to having seen Star Wars on the big screen once again, in the sense that the show looks so good that if it looks the same on the big screen, that's somehow a bad thing for the movie itself. And I don't necessarily think that's certainly the case. I think Jon Favreau recognizes that, though, and I think that's why he's also doing different filming techniques for the movie that they certainly don't do for the television series, right? Minimal volume, like we talked about, bigger set pieces, more stop motion animation. All these little things go a long way to making a theatrical experience feel much different than that of a television series. And maybe there's just a young generation of people that only know Jon Favreau for working on like Mandalorian television, but this guy is a filmmaker for the movies through and through. He's been an actor in countless films on the big screen. He's been a writer for films. He's been a director for movies. He's done classics like Elf for sure. He also starred in Chef. He also wrote, I believe he directed Chef. He also did the first two Iron Man movies, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, the guy is talented. The guy is talented, and he knows how to make big movies for the big screen. And so you tell me Jon Favreau wants to make a Star Wars movie, he will make it feel like a Star Wars movie. And I think this final trailer just brilliantly showcased that. So I'm really excited for what this movie is going to provide for us here. Again, I'm not necessarily one that's worried about it feeling like a television show. I think they have a story that's big enough. But I still think that they are hiding some things within this movie. I don't think that they have fully given us the main story plot as of yet. I mean, what, Din Djarin and them go after some people on the list for the rebellion, and Din Djarin gets captured, and Grogu's got to help him escape. Like, that's nothing. Like that's not even a premise. That's not even a real premise for a movie. Like, I really want to know how deep this goes. What's the impact on the galaxy? What's the politics certainly behind it all? What's the impact of something that's about to happen? Why do they need Rhoda the Hutt in the first place? Is Rhoda the end game, or is he a means to get to somebody else within the Empire, or one of these, rogue leaders, or one of these rogue moths, or whatever the case may be? So I will be interested to kind of see where their path takes them. But I do think that they have a story that's good enough for the big screen. But we'll see. We will see. But let me know your guys' thoughts on the trailer for Mandalorian and Grogu and what you guys think. What's your anticipation level for this movie now? We've got just about a month to go. And I think the marketing has been really good for this movie so far. And I think it'll continue for sure, especially once we start getting like press releases and not press releases, but like more press tours. You know what I mean? And then one last topic for you guys today. Believe it or not, an old school classic hero is in the news this week in the Phantom. That's right. The Phantom is back. I haven't seen this dual pistol holding character in quite some time. The last time I seen my man, it was the Phantom movie by Billy Zane. I believe I saw this in theaters. I think my uncle probably took me to see it. It's been a minute though since I've ever revisited this movie. I was always a really big fan of the costume itself. I am going to be kind of curious to see what they do differently, but we're not getting the Phantom in the form of a movie, but it does seem as though from a television perspective, that's right, a live action television series is currently in the works. We got this brand new article here from variety.com saying the Phantom live action series in the works from filmmaker Reginald Hudlin. This is an exclusive here. A live action series based on Lee Falk's classic comic strip, The Phantom, is in the works from Candy Cane Lane and Sydney filmmaker Reginald Hudlin. Hudlin will direct and produce the TV series, which is in the development stage. A predecessor to Batman and Iron Man, the Phantom comic book strip debuted about 90 years ago. That's crazy how old this character is. In the Ghost Who Walks character is credited as the first costume superhero. The character has received more attention in recent years with digital editions of the comics, including the launch of Phantom 2040, which is a webcomic by Alex Segura. Okay, Alex Segura is a pretty well known in the comic book world as of right now. So the fact that he's attached to the Phantom 2040 is interesting. The franchise boasts a global readership of more than 29 million, with key international markets as well. A new Phantom comic book series launched from Mad Cave Comics in 2025, with plans for additional releases over the next 2 years. Along with his work in film and TV, Hudlin is a vet on the comic book world. He previously wrote Black Panther issues for Marvel Comics and is now the co-owner of comic book company Milestone Media. A feature film based on Milestone's Static Shock character is currently in development. What? How is this one little line for a Static Shock movie in development, like hidden in this article all the way at the bottom? Look, in development, I just think of like still working out the kinks before we even get to like pre-production or even green lighting the idea of it happening. But the fact that Hudlin, I think, look, if Hudlin can do a live action Phantom series and that's picked up and ordered and it's successful, I think the idea of a Static Shock movie then becomes a much bigger possibility. It says the development of a live action series for the iconic comic strip The Phantom marks a pivotal expansion to meet the current cultural zeitgeist for this brand. By partnering with the award-nominated director Reginald Hudlin, who possesses a deep reverence for the comic industry and source material itself, we are confident this adaptation will meet the high expectations of both longtime and new fans globally. I didn't know that he was credited as the first comic book or costumed superhero, debuting nearly 90 years ago. That's freaking bananas if you ask me. I don't know. I don't really even remember the Phantom's power set. Was he able to like embody the powers of like the animals and stuff around him? Let me see. The Phantom character power set. He has no innate superhuman powers. He relies on peak human conditioning, expert martial arts, marksman skills with swords and firearms, and genius level intellect. He relies on a fearsome reputation as an undying ghost to terrify criminals. In the 1980s animated series, he could temporarily gain strength of 10 tigers by chanting a mantra. But he didn't have any other abilities, huh? What was that? What was that ring that he had that in the what did that ring provide for him, or what was he able to do with that? I'm trying to read some other stuff here to see if there is. There's been a couple. A part of the official uniform, the Phantom wears black domino mask and a purple skin type bodysuit. He carries period appropriate sidearms, so 2 pistols and a special belt with a skull like buckle. He only uses his guns to shoot out the guns of his opponents, a fact that writer Peter David was unaware when he wrote his comic book back in 1988. The Phantom rings. His signature character is his 2 rings. One has a pattern form like a 4 crossing sabers that he leaves on visitors whom he befriends, placing the person under his protection. The other, the evil mark or the skull mark, has a skull shape which leaves a scar on the corresponding shape of the enemy he punches with it. He wears the good mark on his left hand because it's closer to his heart, and the evil mark on his right hand. So he really doesn't have any powers, huh? So that's interesting. Yeah. So based off of what Google is telling me, he relies on peak human conditioning, expert martial arts, and he's a marksman skill with swords and firearms and genius intellect. I gotta watch this movie again. I gotta pull up Billy Zane's The Phantom. Maybe this will be a movie that I review randomly one day for for our Let's Talk Movies segment on a Monday night. But yeah, I'm fascinated by this, man. Anytime that they want to go ahead and try and bring back classic characters like this, especially from 90 years ago, to try and make them more relevant today, I always find really fascinating and curious if they could kind of pull it off. I've always just remember being a really big fan of the costume itself. I would not be mad at trying to see them recreate something like that for a modern time. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it. Pexy says there was a Phantom cartoon back in the 90s. I think that's probably where a lot of my recognition of the Phantom comes from, was more than the 90s stuff, and maybe even seen some old classic comic book stuff of his on like the spinner rack at the comic book store back in the day. I never really collected it by that so much, but I would be kind of curious to see like what cultural relevancy they can have for the Phantom in 2026, as he's still based out of Africa, sort of thing. What are his enemies certainly gonna be like? Any supernatural sci-fi elements involved in here? So again, in development just means they're working on it behind the scenes at the studio. Whether or not it gains traction or comes to fruition could take several years. Who knows? Unless it's really good and they feel like we really have crafted and found something as of right now. But in works doesn't necessarily always mean it's set to happen immediately, or if at all. But it is something that they're kind of tinkering with. So we'll see if the Phantom ever makes a live action return. But they definitely have plans for him. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section box below. And take a sip of my coffee before we move on to our final segment of the day. I do want to you guys have any big plans for this weekend after the show wraps up? Let me know. All right, guys. And with that out of the way, let's move on to our next segment of the day.
And now, everybody, it is time for live viewer questions.
And if you ever want to submit a live viewer question over to our show, how do you do so? Well, just so you guys know, every Saturday evening or Saturday afternoon, I will post on our YouTube channel, as you see right here, A Plus Hero Report on YouTube. Again, every Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, hit that post tab right here. And voila, live viewer questions. Looks like we got 6 comments here. Let me sort these out by newest. And let's tackle some questions here, man. Let's see what we got. Blossom in the house today. Always appreciate you coming through, Blossom. If you guys were going to create your own tokusatsu, what would it be about? Damn. Let me jump ahead. Do you remember Dino Fury making a reference to Ishinomori, aka the creator behind Super Sentai and Kamen Rider? Sorry to swear, but it was kind of badass that they referenced him. By the way, aside from Javi, I'm starting to think Ollie's actor is just as much of a sexy badass as Chance Perez is. Just wanted to give you guys a hard time. Ollie may be Power Ranger version of Tommy Tomo at times, but Amelia is lucky. Yeah, man. If you check out Kai, the guy that plays Ollie on his Instagram, he's a really big karate guy. Like he goes to tournaments, he practices all the time. His whole family, I think, is some level of karate and stuff. The boy is ripped. He's constantly working out. Kai's a handsome dude. He's a handsome dude for sure. Ollie will definitely give Javi a run for his money. But I don't remember the reference though. I don't remember the Dino Fury reference for the creator of behind Super Sentai. I might have to. What do you remember? What episode that might have been Blossom for Dino Fury? I want to go ahead and check it out again. It's been years. But if I had to create my own tokusatsu, what would it be? I still am. You know, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I still want a martial arts theme. I really want, like, I don't want to say mixed martial arts theme, but when I say mixed martial arts, I mean just new versions or more modernized versions of, you know, art martial arts styles that are very prevalent today. You know, whether that be one character that knows Brazilian jiu-jitsu, another one that knows judo, maybe there's a wrestler in there, you know, maybe there's a drunken master style, the I can't, was it one Wei Chung, I can't remember whatever the art style is for, like, Ip Man. I would love it, like an Ip Man art style also. Like each fighter, each ranger having some sort of martial arts background, whether or not, like, it's whether or not the theme is like mixed martial arts in general, to where like there's a tournament. Maybe there's like who knows, maybe there's like an intergalactic mixed martial arts tournament, and you've got bosses or organizations from different worlds coming in to compete. You know, maybe there's like an underlying mystery or a problem that needs to be solved that's going on behind the scenes of this big fighting tournament. And this team of Super Sentai has been fledged with, like, having to and not only enter the tournament and compete, but also find out the mystery of what's going on, and maybe who's pulling the strings, or maybe like the prize is something really dangerous that, like, evil people are certainly after, and this team has to win in order to kind of keep it out of their hands, or whatever the case may be. Maybe that would be my theme: an intergalactic MMA tournament with the theme of, like, the winner taking over the world or acquiring this immense power that can destroy planets or universes. And so you've got a team of some of the best mixed martial artists from different regions and different cultural styles, having to become some sort of Super Sentai team to compete against other fighters throughout the universe. So you get to play with different alien beings, different species, different character designs, alien designs and stuff, and create some really intimidating big bads. Like, give that to me, bro. Give that to me. I would love that. That would be my pitch for a new new Super Sentai Tokusatsu show if I had my way. That just all came to my head immediately though. Once I, but then you could take, you can attach the whatever culture those fighting styles for the team comes from. If that culture has any type of mythological creatures attached to it, make that be sort of like their costume designed theme. But focus, on the cultural mythological aspect of that, with their fighting style as the center of things. But that would be my my 2 cents. Blossom with the super chat. Ali's mom had work at the Ishinomori Institute. Oh, that's right. You're right. That's right, because his mom was a scientist. So that's pretty cool. That's a really cool nod. And I also appreciate the super chat, Blossom. Thank you so much for donating $2 to the team. Blossom says, Drunken Fist, didn't the Yellow Ranger and Die Ranger use that? Yep, and I want to bring it back. He absolutely did. Intergalactic tournament sounds totally awesome. I think so too, man. I think so too. I love that theme. It's sad we won't get ourselves another Super Sentai series for years to come. But if we were to ever do another Tokusatsu show of any type, that would be what I would lead off with. AJ the Morphing Grid, what's up? Tommy and Catherine's Dino Thunder reunion. The storyline involving Catherine Hillard's move to London during Turbo provides a narrative reason for why Tommy Oliver was frequently seen working alone in his Reefside lab during Dino Thunder, reflecting the reality of their long-distance relationship. Under original production plans, Catherine was set to serve as the team's technical advisor before returning to active duty as Zeo Ranger 1 Pink and switching places with Haley. Catherine's departure would have eventually seen her fall under a curse as the villain Zeltrex, because Catherine's sudden retirement led to these ideas being replaced by the characters Haley's Zictor and Terrence Smith. How would the dynamic of the series have changed if the primary antagonist was actually Tommy's wife fighting to break free from her suit of evil armor? I think it would have been pretty dope. Maybe a little bit too on the nose, in the sense that, Catherine had already been evil at some point in time, under the spells and stuff. So the idea of her falling victim to that again, it's just like, damn, girl, like, you're the tech advisor. You can't like prevent that shit from happening to you again. So maybe a little bit repetitive, but any additional addition for Catherine, I think, would have been really, really great. Honestly, I would have been open to seeing that. I really would have. Peg C, what are your thoughts on the second project, Red series after Super Space Sheriff Gavin, called Kakusai Hunter Omega Horn? Translated as Horn Awakening Hunter Omega Horn, is a second installment to Project Red franchise. It is set to replace Super Space Sheriff Gavin Infinity. Wait, it's set to replace Super Space? Didn't that show just start? So like, is Super Space Sheriff Gavin Infinity like a one season thing? But then it's going to be followed up by a second project in Horn Awakening Hunter Omega Horn. Is that what you're saying? Like, is there not going to be a second season of Super Space Sheriff Gavin Infinity? Will that show lead into this new second project? I haven't seen any visuals for this second project you're talking about. Maybe I'll have to do some research after today's show. But that's fascinating to me. You said it's set to replace Sheriff Gavin, which is like, dude, the show just started. Why would they replace it? But maybe this is part of their overall scheme, really building like a interconnective world that leads into new shows after each season to build up. Maybe it builds up to a big epic crossover thing. I don't know, but I don't know how I feel about that right now. On the chat on last week's show, I mentioned that Keenan Ivory Wayans is responsible for the halftime show. Keenan Ivory Wayans is created with revolutionizing the Super Bowl halftime show in 1993 by creating a live counter-programming episode of In Living Color. This move stole millions of viewers from the traditional halftime show, forcing the NFL to book major stars like Michael Jackson to keep audiences tuned in. Oh, Oh, so that's what you mean in regards to like he's responsible for the halftime show because he ended up creating parallel programming to the what used to be the halftime show, and the NFL sounds like they didn't like that, so they thought in order for people to stay at our halftime show, we have to change the halftime show as we know it and now have it be bigger performers. That's crazy. And Living Color was a powerhouse that I don't know if people really recognize or understand the momentum that that show and that series really had for itself. I'm telling you, man, the Wayans as a family are just geniuses. And so for them to even draw few viewers from a halftime show for the NFL, and then to go on to do other things like White Chicks and Great and Living Colors series, along with a Scary Movie franchise. And I'm sure they've done a ton of other things also, but yeah, that's pretty incredible. Also, according to Deadline, Fern Gully returning as a live action film. Amazon MGM. I think I did read that somewhere. Sets Marielle Heller to direct. Based on the beloved 1992 animated Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest. Stacy Sher will produce. Okay. Have you watched the original film? Dude, I don't think I have. I'm very aware of Fern Gully, but I don't think I actually ever sat down and watched it. I'll have to put that one on my list of movies to watch also. That's cool that they're looking to do a live action film on it though. It's very recognizable for an IP. My friends call me Joseph. Of course, across the various live action adaptations, Flash Thomas has evolved from one-dimensional jerk in the Tobey Maguire films to a more nuanced figure in The Amazing Spider-Man, where he displays genuine empathy towards Peter after Uncle Ben's passing. The most recent MCU iteration further shifted the dynamic by portraying him as an academic rival and a non-Caucasian Spider-Man superfan who relies on verbal taunts rather than physical confirmation. Given these different takes on the character's growth and background, which version do you believe best captures the complex relationship between high school bully and a hidden superhero? I would probably, I barely remember the version of the Amazing Spider-Man Flash Thompson. Like, it's not even coming to mind who that Flash Thompson was in the Amazing Spider-Man movies to me. So he clearly didn't have a lot of impact on me. I could see the Tobey Maguire ones being more of a fair representation because I could easily see him not only being the high school bully, but being somebody that would maybe eventually evolve into a hidden superhero. The idea of like the current version of Flash Thompson, he just seems too fanboy to me to fall into that line of eventually becoming a hidden superhero. So I'm not really he's cool, comedically timing and to be a foil every now and then for Peter. But the Flash Thompson one to me, I think maybe just because he's more traditional. Flash Thompson is the one that usually always sticks out to me that I could eventually see if given time, definitely gone the more hidden superhero route. But we'll see. I'm kind of curious if Flash Thompson will even pop up in something like Brand New Day, or if they just move away from that character and really focus on not only MJ and Ned, but maybe other friends that he might bump into at the university and make new friends. Jessica Friedman, do you think we will see Cruella 2 finally go into production? And what are your thoughts on NBC canceling Law and Order Organized Crime and not telling the cast? What? Let me see. Oh yeah, Law and Order Organized Crime starring Christopher Maloney has been canceled after 5 seasons. I mean, it got a 5-season run. Is the other franchise? Yeah, Law and Order SVU currently in its 27th season. Law and Order, the flagship show, currently in its 25th. There's plenty of Law and Order shows. I'm okay with that. The idea of not telling the cast and crew, though, is kind of bananas to me. It's pretty crazy if you ask me. But the truth of the matter is, there's so many shows kind of like that on the air already that I'm okay with it. I thought for some reason it was I read it wrong when you said Law and Order Organized Crime. They're not telling this cast is crazy though. But the show itself being canceled, that doesn't really surprise me. Kenneth, what's up, Kenneth? What do you think of Tom Holland being the first live-action Spider-Man to star in a fourth solo film with the upcoming release of Brand New Day? This milestone officially breaks the trilogy curse that previously halted the franchise of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield by spanning nearly a decade in the role. Holland has cemented his place as a definitive wall crawler for a new generation of Marvel fans. No, I completely agree with you, Kenneth. I think this is a monumental moment for Spider-Man, for Peter Parkers all over the world. Tom Holland, I think, will go down eventually as the Hugh Jackman or the Robert Downey Jr. of that character. That, like, when people think of Spider-Man, especially for generations to come, I think he will be maybe one of the first that people certainly think about. I expect a whole nother trilogy for Tom Holland by the end of his run. So 6 Spider-Man films. Tobey Maguire will always be my boy and always be like my Spider-Man. But I think Tom Holland is just such a great balance of both a Peter and a Spider-Man that's really unmatched by anybody else. Besides, I think Tobey Maguire is a close second to that in regards to, I love Tobey as Peter more. But I do think his Spider-Man, especially as witty and just like as quick on his feet as he is pretty good. But I think Tom Holland, really, especially after the 4th one, now that we're about to get a 4th one, I think is like the definitive wall crawler for the new generation of Marvel fans, like you put it. I couldn't agree more. Alex Ramirez, is it me or does coleslaw often receive an unfair amount of criticism considering it's essentially just a shredded vegetable salad? I personally find it delicious, provided it serves as a crunchy, tangy counterpart to a piece of fried chicken or any juicy meat, since it balances out heavy flavors so well. Do you think people would appreciate it more if they stopped treating it as a standalone dish? I don't know anybody that really has coleslaw as a standalone dish. Like I don't know anybody that like has just a plate of coleslaw that they eat. I've always seen coleslaw as a secondary dish, to be accompanied with other things that you eat. It's probably why they do sell it with chicken most often. KFC certainly does that. When I go to Raising Cane's, which is a chicken spot here in Texas, they also have coleslaw. But let me tell you, I can understand the criticisms though that coleslaw gets, because while yes, essentially it's just shredded vegetable salad, not all coleslaw tastes the same, dog. Not all coleslaw tastes the same. People could put other ingredients, different sauces in it to make it taste more tangy, not as tangy, less flavorful, not, more flavorful. I've had some coleslaw that's bomb, and then I've had some coleslaw that's like blah. So in fact, when I go to Raising Cane's, I don't even want the coleslaw. I tell them I don't want the coleslaw. Give me double fries instead of the coleslaw, and they usually will do that. Just because I'm not a fan necessarily of Raising Cane's coleslaw. Now, it's been years. Maybe they've changed the ingredients a little bit. Maybe changed things around. Maybe I should try and give it a fair shot. But I would agree with you. It does serve great as a crunchy, tangy counterpart, especially for like fried chicken or any type of meat. I completely agree with you. But I will just say not all coleslaw is equal to each other. So I do think coleslaw at times is fairly criticized, but it's really just dependent on the person that kind of makes it. But yeah, I can understand if people don't like coleslaw, just because sometimes it just don't work. But yeah, I got to be in the mood for it. Thank you for the question, Alex. Definitely. Hey, I always say, feel free to ask us anything. That's a coleslaw question. Thanks, man. Marco Parco says the release of Deadpool and Wolverine, fans remain divided on whether the film serves as a true MCU introduction, given its focus on the multiverse and cameos like Blade, Elektra, and Gambit. Despite Hugh Jackman's return, the narrative centers on a worse Wolverine variant than the original Logan, who died, while Chris Evans' surprise appearance as Johnny Storm further emphasizes his status as a cultural crossover. Does the presence of the TVA in a brief Avengers montage provide enough narrative weight to officially integrate these characters into the main sacred timeline? I think so. And I also think the idea of implementing the question of why is Thor crying, right? Wasn't there a scene of like Thor crying and Deadpool needed to know why, and we never found out why Thor was crying? I would not be surprised if that moment is actually addressed in something like Avengers Doomsday, and in turn it all kind of comes full circle once again back to Deadpool and Wolverine, at least answering that question. So while I get the premise of it, I do think the TVA in a brief Avengers montage does provide enough narrative weight to officially integrate these characters into the sacred timeline. I guess I was expecting more, though. I will agree with you. I think I was expecting a little bit more. Because the way that the movie ends, it seems as though they're still just in their universe, right? It's not like they went to a brand new universe and all those characters are still there. It's like, no, Wolverine is just now part of Deadpool's bigger family of characters that are still in the Fox multiverse, in the Fox X-Men universe. So they didn't really integrate them into the MCU, but they sort of integrated them into the canon sacred timeline of they're part of a much bigger story here. So maybe not as rewarding as some fans probably would have hoped, but I think the addition of the TVA is a core one, and I think that Thor crying scene will pay off in the future to make that movie feel a little bit more connected. But I understand I understand how some people felt. Lois is my wife and Peter is dead. It's hilarious when you realize Elizabeth Shue played both Allie Mills in The Karate Kid and Jennifer Parker in the Back to the Future sequels. What? Hold on a second. What? Wait, what? That's her? Bro. Holy shit. That's her? Oh my God. Dude, why am I just now knowing this? That don't even look like the same girl to me. Allie Mills, Elizabeth Shue, who played Allie Mills from The Karate Kid, is the same girl that played Jennifer in Back to the Future 2. And dude, they don't even look like the same person to me. No, that's not the same person. That can't be the same person, dog. Bro, they don't even look the same to me. She don't look like the same girl to me from The Karate Kid. That's a crazy revelation. From Johnny Lawrence's perspective in Cobra Kai, seeing his ex-girlfriend hop into a flying DeLorean with a guitar playing time travel would be the ultimate betrayal. While it was actually just a recasting of the role, the visual of Allie choosing Marty McFly over Daniel and Johnny adds a funnier layer of irony to her dating history. Given how much Johnny holds a grudge, do you think he'd blame Marty for his heartbreak if he ever saw those movies? Probably. Yeah, Johnny be able to blame anybody quick as hell. Bro, that's a crazy revelation. That just blew my mind. Elizabeth Shue was both Allie Mills and Jennifer Parker. They don't even look like the same person to me. Wow. Alan, what's up, Alan? Is this your first time dropping a question here? If it is, appreciate you coming through, Alan. Thank you. Does the gritty 1993 accurate aesthetics of the new Street Fighter trailer suggest that the studio has finally mastered the secret sauce for video game adaptions? The footage of Andrew Koji's Ryu and Noah Centinio's Ken brings a grounded martial arts energy that feels like a massive leap forward from the campy era of the 90s. It does. I mean, there are definitely going to be campy aspects to it, and it's definitely tapping into the proper video game adaptation, I think. But I do think the Ryu and Ken story, especially just from the brief like choreography and the moments of them seeing each other again, clearly there's a lot of animosity that Ken has towards Ryu. The cool like action sequence of them fighting and him trying to stop Ken from like and trying to flip out of his way, it just feels like there's a very serious kind of like story between those two that I think will really ground the movie from being as campy and over the top as it could be. With this in the upcoming Mortal Kombat 2 doubling down on comic accurate rosters, it seems Hollywood is finally prioritizing authentic lore over generic action tropes. What part of the trailer's nostalgic World Warrior vibe most convinced you that they're finally getting the fighting genre right? I don't know. I think maybe just tapping into things that worked well for the video game. Like I think for Street Fighter, adding the flashy, colorful flair to things, like the stylistic vibes of how this movie is directed and shot. When I look at the trailer, it makes me think they've got this fighting genre correct. Like each fighting genre is different. Like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, while they're in the fighting genre, they both have different vibes to them that work or don't work. And the flashy stylistic aspect of things works for Street Fighter. Diving into beating up the car or being poolside with the women, you know, cheering you on while you're fighting sort of thing, right? Be it in the glitz and the glamour of these big fighting tournaments, all of that really taps into the fighting genre that I think made Street Fighter so successful. So, I think there's a level, I think for Hollywood, it's a level of understanding what your IP is and finding writers and directors that really vibe with that same style and being able to bring it to life. Like, like if we were to switch writer and director from Street Fighter to Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat to Street Fighter, we may have two completely different movies that maybe they might work, but maybe they may not necessarily be true to what the video games are and feel significantly different. It may not necessarily work that way, right? So I do think it's important for studios to truly understand the IP of the movie that they're about to create, and also being able to tap great directors and writers that at least have a mind for what that should be and how it should look. And so I'm hoping that Hollywood is being much more attentive to that, because I do think that they have seen success in adapting video games over the past couple of years, whether that be from a television perspective like The Last of Us or something like Fallout. I think because of the success of those things, I think they are learning how to carry that over into the big budget feel for the big screen and tapping into the core of what those franchises are. So I do think they're learning a little bit. Not to say that everything video game wise is going to be great going forward, but I think those studios that recognize that will be the most successful. And last but not least, Tony Robinson, which film do you think will do better at the box office? Mortal Kombat 2, oh my God, Masters of the Universe, or Street Fighter? Oh my God. That's a great fucking question, Tony. What movie will do better in the box office? Okay. Okay. I really don't know. I think these are all going to be really close. I'm going to give you an order from most to least. Mortal Kombat 2, Street Fighter, Masters of the Universe. I say that because Masters of the Universe, while I think it's going to be a great movie, I don't know how it's going to do at the box office. I hope it's going to be successful, but I think because it's such an old IP that hasn't been super, super relevant, that I think maybe that might be the underlying factor towards it. I hope I'm wrong though. I think Masters of the Universe. Now that I think about it, I think Masters of the Universe probably needs to be the biggest at the box office. But what will do better at the box? No, I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna take that back. Masters of the Universe will be number one just because of its 4 quadrants, who it's appealing to. Kids, family. It's just a bigger grasp that people can go and see that movie, right? So I'm going to say Masters of the Universe. I'll say Mortal Kombat 2 because of the fact that I think it's got a lot of momentum even building up from last year when this movie was supposed to drop in October of 2025 and they pushed it to summer. I think and continuing to drop new great looking things. I think Mortal Kombat 2 will really impress in the summer. And then last but not least, Street Fighter. I don't think any of these movies will be a box office failure, but I do think their amounts will be close to each other and be successes. So I'm going to go Masters of the Universe number 1, Mortal Kombat 2, and then Street Fighter 3. Do you guys think that Hasbro will start putting out news about Power Rangers because this generation of people today have short attention spans? I don't think they're going to be dropping news anytime soon. If there is any news to be dropped, I would expect maybe San Diego Comic-Con in July, because I don't even think that they're close to pre-production yet. I believe they were supposed to go into pre-production or at least begin filming in April, but I've heard that that's not the case anymore, that they've pushed pre-production a little bit further down the line. So if anything, I would say if we are to learn anything, maybe San Diego Comic-Con being the earliest, maybe sometime in July. Due to the description being revealed, how excited are you guys for Avengers Doomsday? I'm hyped. I've already been hyped for this project. Learning more about it though has got my anticipation through the roof. I can't remember if Avengers Doomsday was on my list of most anticipated movies. I believe it might have been at like number 3 or something like that, or number 2. I think this movie is going to floor some people. I mean, anytime you have I think the idea of like the payoff of where we've come from Endgame may not be there, right? Like the multiverse saga may not necessarily have worked very well for some people and underperformed in the eyes of people, but I think the multiverse saga movies that matter for this movie to be successful will be the ones that most people have come to appreciate. Shang-Chi, Doctor Doom, Doctor Strange 2, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Those 5 movies are probably the more important building blocks, and Avengers Endgame. And all those movies, for the most part, very well received by critics and audiences. And if you can take what worked for those and put those into Avengers Endgame in regards to the big sort of pivotal moments of the MCU that have mattered in movies that people have appreciated, I think the buildup is there, regardless of how Multiverse Saga has performed overall. I think the building block pieces leading to Avengers Doomsday with those big films, I think people have seen those, and I think that's probably all they really would have needed to see in order to jump right on board. So I think this movie is going to be well received. I mean, I think I'm not worried about it whatsoever. I think the MCU has done a great job of righting the ship ever since Thunderbolts, and I think they have, no pun intended, an end game in mind that really makes sense and works from a cinematic and storytelling purpose. And I think they're going to just remind people who the fuck the Avengers are for the Marvel Studios. So I'm excited, man. I'm really pumped for this. Really pumped for this. But guys, that will do it for all of our live viewer questions today. I just want to reset, make sure I got everybody's questions. But yeah, thank you everybody for certainly participating here today. Always appreciate it. And thank you everybody who also went ahead and put in a super chat for us today. We had Kiki and Luca with $2 and Blossom with $2 today as well. We appreciate you guys always showing up for us, man, and being there each and every week. You make our weekends much easier and much more enjoyable for sure. But look, guys, that will do it for our brand new episode of Hero Report. Maybe I'll clip parts of this show. Maybe I'll drop some shorts throughout the week for you guys. We do have a Let's Talk Movies live episode with me and Stuart tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Time. We're probably going to be talking Super Mario Brothers Galaxy movie, along with maybe one or two other movies. Definitely stay tuned for that. We'll also be back on Wednesday evening live at 10 p.m. Central Time to go ahead and talk Maul Shadow Lord. And I'm also going to try and drop this damn Daredevil review for episodes, was it 4 and 5 or something like that, sometime later today, or maybe first thing Monday morning for you guys, so we can finally catch up to Daredevil. I got a lot on my mind in that regards. And then, of course, we're going to be trying to check out more movies throughout the week for you guys. And we'll definitely be back next weekend, live every Sunday at noon Central Time, guys. And then throughout the week, if there's any big trailers or news that drops that we want to discuss, we may do some individual videos here and there for you guys. But we'll definitely see you guys next Sunday. But that will do it for me here, guys. Have an incredible rest of your weekend, and we'll see you guys next week. Until then, do me a big favor, as always, guys. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.